Hello, Philadelphia! I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gorgano Show!
Live from the Xfinity Studios. Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is the Anthony Gargano Show, presented by the Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app. Miserable Monday. Just a horrible Monday. Rainy weekend. It's a shame because it's Italian day today. Italian pride today. Man, it was just this weather, this nor'easter that hit us, and it just laid out the perfect mood for the Delaware Valley. Because as you laid around yesterday indoors with nothing to watch but the NFL, you couldn't help yourself. And you watched the games, and you saw a degree of offense from good teams, and you suddenly were jealous. Hey, how come the Eagles don't look like that? How come the Eagles don't run that kind of motion? How come the Eagles' offense isn't that creative? Look, you watch the Chiefs, and you watch the Lions, and you watch the Niners, and you watch Tampa Bay, and it's impossible not to have that thought that you're looking at offense and you're going, wait a second, where did this offense go? And after reflection, because Thursday night was such a bad night that we were trying to come to grips with the end of the Phillies, the finality or the PH of the Phillies. The Eagles were kind of the afterthought Thursday night. And they were awful and got smacked around, out physicaled, out toughed. And then you start to digest it and you look at it and you go, all right, well, let's kind of examine this with fresh eyes over the weekend. And the true issues came out that if they're not running the football, they're not good. Their offense is not good. We've seen it over the last 3 years. We've seen a lack of creativity. We've seen a lack of so many things, right, that could work in really good offenses. So what is, and you could point to the lack of the injuries on the offensive line, the fact that they're not tough enough on the offensive line. Like, they bullied people last year. They bullied them, right? Like, last year, they were able to bully teams, and it didn't matter if it was a stacked box. Everybody knew what the Eagles were doing. They were running the ball. We're going to run it down your throat. Left side, right side, up the middle between the tackles. Saquon. And they just bully people. And the offensive line was great. But now the offensive line is dinged up. You got backups. You got guys who were beat up and hurt. You got a different guard in Steen versus Becton in the run game. So now they can't do that. Now they struggle to get the push and win at the line of scrimmage. So now what? Now you're like every other team. Like, you lost your superpower. Now, they may get it back once everybody gets healthy, but for now, they lost their superpower. Their superpower was the super O-line. And that made things a lot easier to work from. So now you're like everybody else. So what? How do you scheme it? I see the offensive coordinator who is completely swimming. I see the quarterback that is befuddled by zone coverage. That when you're showing blitz and you back out of it and you flood the zone and say, beat me in the window, his window's shut. So they got a lot of work to do. And quite frankly, I'm worried. Legitimately worried. You got a tough defensive coordinator in Flores and the Vikings coming up. They got the Giants again. which, I mean, I can't imagine you lose twice in 3 weeks, but, who knows? You got your bye to clean things up. And then after the bye, you got Packers-Lions, which is absolutely frightening. So all of a sudden, I didn't expect this, but I didn't expect them to be in a position where all of a sudden it's great concern, great worry. I'm really surprised by it. Now, we couldn't foresee the injuries on the O-line, and I think it all stems from that. Even defensively, like without Jalen Carter and Quinyon, the defense can't carry you. So you get healthy, you can get your footing back. So it's not like a death knell, but the injuries are a huge factor. Good morning, VG.
Good morning, Anthony. Yeah.
Good morning, Anthony.
This morning. I'm still in depression mode from the Phillies.
Yeah, I didn't watch a lick of baseball. I love the baseball playoffs. And can I tell you, I didn't watch a lick of baseball.
Friday night was a good game, 15 innings.
It was amazing.
Yeah, I watched it. Tortured myself, and I watched it.
I mean, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Chances, Tigers, Mariners. It was awesome.
Yep.
I mean, quite frankly, the 2 games, Thursday and Friday, were great baseball games. Skubal striking out 13, but out after 6 innings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They reached that 199. He said he was done.
Well, it's surprising, too. He's usually a 110 guy when he's rolling, but I don't know.
Tapped out.
Football, Temple, big. Wow, come on.
Take a knee.
Come on. 4th and 1 with 40 seconds left.
Horrible loss. Yikes.
A rough one. I couldn't do it. I watched the first slate of games yesterday. You're seeing stuff happen. You're just like, what? So I went out. I went to a festival. Ortlieb's had a hot dog and music festival yesterday. Saw a bunch of good bands. And
In the ring?
They moved it inside. It was supposed to be outside in the park, but they moved it inside.
That's a good spot.
Where was it?
Ortlieb's right at 3rd Street, just north of Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little spot. So, yeah, it's all full.
What'd you have?
I just had beers, Pacificos. Nice light
I love
day.
the Pacificos.
Yeah, nice light day.
Pacificos
Nothing
is a good
serious.
beer.
Yeah. So,
I threaded a football through their
Yeah,
sign one time.
I did not do a hot dog.
That's right.
They had vegan hot dogs available.
Did they?
Yeah. It's not. I'm leading into Paisan Day. I had meatballs on the stove yesterday. I come home to some meatballs, sandwiches.
So you just went out for a couple.
I went out like 4 to 8. I went basically the late window. I went out. The show was over by 8 o'clock. So.
On a Sunday. That's industrious.
There was something interesting about being.
I went out. We had a game yesterday.
Yeah.
So we were out there.
And the winds.
The winds were whipping.
Were they blowing out? Was it football?
The Castellanos were blowing.
Run heavy.
Yeah, it was ugly.
Wing option.
Yeah, it was ugly.
There's something weird about being in a dark club, seeing music at like 4:30 in the afternoon. Like it's almost like a casino. You have no clue it's bright outside or it's daytime.
Yeah,
It was weird.
Yeah,
but yeah, I liked it.
You liked it?
Yeah,
you are a vampire.
And I caught the headlight.
You would be good. Like you could go. You know those morning clubs?
Yes.
Like it's dark and it's 10:30 and people are partying.
Yeah.
That's you.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, stop.
I'm looking now. I was thinking, what are the odds? I think I'm making a futures bet for Super Bowl. See what I can get on my squad now after the Eagles, of course.
Who are you picking?
Who's your squad?
I'm gonna take a run.
Who's your squad?
I mean, the Eagles are always my squad, but betting wise, I'm gonna take a run on the Buccaneers. There's something going on with
Come on.
There's
That's
something
a
going on with
violation,
Baker
man.
right now, dude.
Nah, he's awesome.
Business is business. 20-1.
He's
Dude,
awesome.
Come on.
That's a violation. No?
Yeah. You can't do
I
that.
might throw $50 on the Buccaneers.
You can't be going now. Future Super Bowl.
Well,
Yeah. Come on.
The
Man.
Eagles' future. If you got a hedge.
You
Gotta
Dude, Eagles could turn things around. They could right the ship and you'd be back on track,
You
man.
didn't even watch Baker yesterday.
I saw the highlights.
What a fugazi.
Hey, man.
Yeah, you can't be doing that.
Fugazi.
Talk about injuries. That guy's playing with me, you, and Andrew at the wideout.
If you watched it, you would see how good he was. But you didn't see it. You were in the Vampire Club.
Fuss giving me shrapnel. He says I should bolt up. I'm not taking the bolts. That's Anthony's squad is the bolts. They
Take the
squeaked one
Colts.
out yesterday.
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones, yeah. You can't go an NFC team.
Yeah.
I'm not rooting for it. This is a brain move. I'm just like, there's something weird going on with that squad right now.
Violation. You're straying from the from the obvious.
It's the obvious.
The Eagles. You're straying from the Eagles.
Eagles will be fine. They'll be 5-3, 5-2 at the break. They'll be 5-2 at the break. They're not losing to Wentz, dude. If they lose to Wentz,
We said they weren't going to lose to the Giants, and look what happened.
that's
You
different.
can't say they're
The
not going to
Giants is
lose.
a division
We don't know.
opponent. I'm talking Carson Wentz.
You take off your ridiculous fan
If you're telling me there's a possibility they're
which
going
I
to
don't
lose
even
to
know if
Carson,
it exists now because he's betting the Buccaneers. So I don't even
Yeah, I don't know.
call you
just call me Creamsicle.
fanboy.
Don't know who you
Call
are.
me Creamsicle.
Yes, they can lose to the Vikings.
What's the line on this game?
That can easily
It
happen.
can definitely happen.
Bet Park's got them at 3-point favorites.
Yeah,
That
can
line
lose.
should be like 6.
Justin Jefferson could have like 180 yards on this Eagles defense.
No, and it's not even the Eagles' defense that concerns me. Obviously, if Quignon's hurt, then we got issues. But it's the offense. Their offense, with that line banged up, their offense is a problem. This offensive coordinator can't fix it. And this is the issue that I spent all weekend thinking about. I got a culprit. And I get no joy in saying this, but it's a guy that needs to step up.
Who?
Who do you think? Take a guess.
Grant Calcaterra.
Andrew, you're the voice
On the
of sanity
line?
this
On the
morning.
line?
No.
No, I'm not.
There's a
I'm
man
not
who
uttering it.
needs-
I'm not uttering it.
Who?
I'm not saying it.
Who is it? Do you not
Who
know?
is it?
I know it's probably a quarterback.
No.
Say
Oh.
for the audience, who is it?
Oh, I thought he was going to say Hurts.
No. Sirianni.
Oh,
Okay?
my man. Oh, you're going to do this on Italian Day?
Sirianni needs to step up because here's the problem.
And do what?
Would you just let me finish? Jesus. Already.
You're triggering me. You're going after
12
Sirianni.
minutes.
Talk to Junior.
Sirianni, you hated Sirianni, and now you somehow like Sirianni. You're such a wins, go with the wins weirdo, sports weirdo.
Go on.
Thank you. The issue is you have a CEO coach
Yes.
who comes from the offensive side of the football. Now, that's a rarity. You don't see CEO coaches come from the offensive side of the football. Usually, they design offenses and they're play callers or former play callers. Sirianni isn't that guy. And that kills him. So when you have these OCs coming in, he can't fix it. Like he couldn't fix it in 23. And now you got another green coin. It's one thing you got Kellen Moore, who's done it. But now you have another green OC who may not be right for the gig, and he can't step in and fix it. Like, what? How could that be? How can you come from the other side of the football, from the offensive side, and not be able to fix the offense?
We've seen him in that role. He's not a good offensive play caller. His play calling lasted like 6 games.
And that's a problem.
Yeah,
He's
he's from Mount Union College. Like, I mean,
It
where's he?
doesn't matter where you come from. A lot of coaches come from all those different
It
places.
feels like he's running the Mount Union offense.
There's all those coaches, but that is an issue. How are you around and study and know and just see the league?
Yeah.
I mean, it befuddles me that he can't fix the offense. Like, I have thoughts and ideas. I'm not an OC.
Yeah.
But like, I think you watch enough football, you study enough tape, you could come up with stuff. You could come up with a game plan. You could fix some. Be creative.
I can't believe I got to defend Sirianni today.
You can't.
His skill set isn't that. His skill set is emotional intelligence.
Okay, but that does me no good.
And he's not even doing well at that either.
Really, but that does me no good when I have an offense that needs.
Yeah, Patullo's
fixing.
the mistake. I mean,
Yeah.
the job's above him, and
Okay.
Nick's not the guy who's going to fix. Nick's the CEO.
But that's an issue with if he's your coach. That's a major issue that the guy who comes from the offensive side of the ball can't step in and help fix it.
Yeah.
That's a major problem.
Yeah, like you said it. You mentioned it was a great analogy. They're superpower. I mean, they're basically like Superman with a pocket of kryptonite right
because
now.
here's the thing. This offense has really looked the same. It really hasn't changed over the years.
No, they just can't.
In 22, when the offense looked good under Steichen, they were playing a lot of RPO game, right? Heavy RPO, heavy read option, until teams figured it out, right? Like that year, teams. I remember talking to Spags about it. It was like, wow, man, Jalen in the run game makes them really hard to stop. Well, then the defense is adjusted. So then we have 23. And you saw the offense kind of languish, right? Mm-hmm. Started out all right, and it kind of languished, and then it fell off the cliff.
Yep.
Right? Last year, their line was so good that if you strip away everything else, they were as vanilla could be. They weren't even vanilla bean. All right? They were just,
vanilla, the imitation vanilla?
I mean,
no bean.
Because all they did was just run the ball and overpower and bully it, which is awesome.
Right.
And a team that we love. But from an offensive creativity standpoint, there was none. They didn't need it.
Right.
Well, now they need it because the O-line is dinged up.
I don't think the O-line is going to be healthy this year.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, they're going to just be – it's a year where they're going to be beaten up.
From an attrition standpoint as well, last year was – you couldn't repeat last year. There's too much physicality that had to go into that offensive line to achieve what you did. And attrition-wise, you were never going to repeat that this year.
Well, and that's true because you have been in January games, right? You've played, deep into January, sometimes into February over the last few years, right? Like, you take it. Like, that's a lot of football, man, a lot of extra football. So those dudes are beat up. You guys are right. And that's part of my hypothesis here.
Yeah.
Factoring in. You got to fix the offense. You got to come out and you got to figure out how to scheme it. Now, the other issue.
Do you think these guys are capable of that?
I mean, what are you going to do?
I mean, I'm just saying you got to fix it, but do you think they're capable of it?
Just let it match, right? And you don't want to do that. It's October. The other issue is the quarterback. It's Hurts. Because as much as I think he's got winning DNA and he does all these other things. But if defensive coordinators are saying, all right, I know how to beat the guy, flood the zone because he won't throw it.
Right.
Flood the zone. Make the windows tighter. He won't throw it. That's a problem.
Well, they're also like.
And that problem reared itself in 23 and the first part of last year when you wanted to be a throw team. Yeah, let's throw the ball. Remember this summer when everybody's going, now it's time to open up the offense.
Yes.
Who didn't say that?
You
didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Why?
Because that's their makeup is the run game.
Because that's not who Jalen is. Jalen is not a volume thrower. He's not built that way. It's not a crime or a criticism or whatever. He's not built to be a volume thrower. He's not built to carry the offense on his arm. He's built to carry it with his legs and distribute like a point guard. He can make some really good throws down the field, all right? He does a lot of good things, but he shouldn't be throwing the ball 35 times when your run game is languishing.
You're making me double up on my bet now. I am not.
This is just what I'm thinking. Like
he's a man.
Unlike you, I wasn't at the Vampire Club in the afternoon, Sunday afternoon. I was watching football and lamenting and trying to figure it out.
Right. You got a blackboard, like all kinds of plays drawn up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
What's he doing, Maz? Look at this. What are they doing, Maz? They got a real problem. Like, there's all kinds of stuff going on. The D coordinators are befuddling them right now, especially they show almost zero blitz and then they just drop into a zone and they
don't know where the pressure's coming from.
No idea where the pressure's coming from.
So you have no where the pressure's coming from. And then they back out right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's still, you don't know where it's coming from.
Yep.
But now you're back out and the zone's flooded.
Yep.
See, the issue is against that, you got to run the ball. You got to be able to run the ball. To me, the fix, you got to put Jalen heavy in the run game. He's got to play a heavy role in the run game.
So, I mean, if we think that's the fix, they're talking about Howie coming out of the trade line. Is an O lineman on your radar for a trade?
Have to be, right?
A guard, maybe?
What O line you going to get in the deadline?
I don't know.
I mean, seriously.
I'm reaching, man. Like, they need some depth. They need something to happen on that line.
Yeah,
because
the
guards are
Dickerson's not going to be right all year. He needs an off-season surgery.
That's the problem. You got to get help.
Someone in chat mentioned, is this a punt year? Did Howie tell us this was going to be a punt year leading in?
I don't think, knowing them and being around them, I don't think it was a punt year. I think it was, hey, we can't sign certain guys. So, which is why you saw them walk on defense.
Mm-hmm.
But in their minds, they thought that they were good enough on defense to compete. Like they didn't punt it. They knew, they thought that they could make a run.
They could make a run.
They just thought their defense would take some time. And it turns out their defense isn't an issue. That was Thursday night because of the injuries.
A lot of injuries.
But their defense isn't an issue.
I mean, the defense.
Because they know that Vic can handle young players. And
yeah, the defense becomes an issue just when the offense stinks and they're on the field for 3/4 of the game.
When you don't have Quinyon Mitchell and Jalen Carter. That's why the defense is an issue Thursday night. But if those guys are on the field, I don't think the defense is an issue.
With CB2?
Listen, I'm not in love with CB2 either, but you could overcome it. Like, I'm not saying it's going to win you games. It's a gangrene defense.
Right.
It's, Reggie White. But it's good enough to win, for sure.
So there's a statement. A former coach here said he'd be willing to help out, come in as a consultant. Doug P. Any interest in him coming to help them straighten stuff out on offense as a consultant?
Well, offensively?
Yeah.
Remember when he was here and how he was making the play calls and it was
compared
bad?
to what we got, I think he might be a little bit of an improvement.
Nah.
Answer me this. How's Jacksonville doing? I mean, I like Doug, but,
Nah, man.
I mean, I don't know what to say, right? I mean, I like Doug a lot. I don't want to, but.
I need some sunshine bad.
Yeah, I know.
Dreariness is just compounding everything.
And I'm still not over the Phillies.
No, I'm
not over the Phillies.
Miserable about the
I
Phillies.
I can't even watch playoffs. All right, lots to get to. We got Franny coming up. We'll check out his film study, see what he thinks, what he sees. The brain.
Flyers got screwed this weekend.
Yeah.
What, are you kidding me? Lame call.
We got the home opener tonight
at
the X Center.
Panthers again.
What a brutal schedule.
Right?
You come out
You
with
gotta be
Florida,
kidding me.
Carolina, who's nasty,
Right.
and then Florida again. Oh, my God. But they play, listen, they play tough.
They won that game. That should have been a goal. And there's no way. Of course, they're going to mentally have a letdown after they think they win and talk about celebrating.
Exactly. So, and then it's a Murphy Monday. So lots to get to on this dreary Monday. We'll cheer you up. I hope.
Yeah.
All right. Talk about some of our friends.
You know what's not dreary? This is sunshine. Rothman is sunshine because they bring sunshine to your body. And if you're in pain or discomfort, they just bring the sun to it. Sun and healing. So let's talk about getting you back to what you love, especially this fall. Whether you're biking by the Schuylkill, chasing your kids through that pumpkin patch or apple orchard, or finally tackling that hiking trail like I did through Northern Liberties yesterday. It's tough when your body doesn't cooperate, and that's where Rothman Orthopedics comes in. From aches after pickup game to old injuries flaring up from these fall activities, Rothman's team of experts, they're there to help with evidence-based care and a commitment to restoring your mobility. They'll get you back out there stronger than ever. So don't let pain put your fall plans on pause. Visit rothmanortho.com/PHLY to book your appointment today and get back to doing what you love and do what you love pain-free. Rothman Orthopedics, getting you back to your fall game. That's their mission.
All right, let's talk Xfinity. So listen, I was trying to figure out a way to get my mind off of, Eagles and Phillies. Well, I went like Saturday college football, man. Raining out, dive into some college football, watch the ends of the Franklin era. My God. So I was nestled in, and it's why I love Xfinity Sports. I was able to drift away and just watch some college football, man. It took me away from everything. All right. It's the ultimate sports destination. I can find the best games, all the games I want to watch, all the teams I want to watch, all in one place. The way I watch is next level. So it's the perfect fan flex. You got all the action right in my living room, man. Xfinity's best picture and sound with enhanced 4K. I mean, I felt like I was at the stadium, man. I'm like, wow, I'm one of these college campuses. I feel like I'm there. It's great stuff. All right. Sometimes, in fact, I have 4 games going on at one time because why not? On top of that, real-time notifications. I got live stats right on my television. It's the best seat in the house every time. I had the little puppy next to me. It's good stuff. Next game, make sure the big fan isn't a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. All right. Now let's try to get to the bottom of this because we have our own bright mind. In fact, I think Franny should be the OC. Let's go to Franny Films on the Xfinity.
They do not crave food nor drink for nourishment, for they exist solely on the glow of the all-22 monitors. They are the Leatherheads, and he is Franny Films.
Good morning, Fran. Fran for OC.
Look, that's a little bit above my pay grade, unfortunately. But yeah, there's a lot to talk about with this team for sure.
That doesn't seem to matter, Franny.
So, doesn't matter for the head coach either because the head coach can't come in and fix it. Like, that's the problem. How many CEO coaches from the offensive side of the ball do you know that weren't former play callers or designers of offense?
Yeah, there's not many that where the background is offense. You look around at the Mike Tomlins and the John Harbaughs, and you go down. Most of those guys, it's more of a defensive background, and it's what makes this so tricky. It makes this team so tricky. And we talked about this last year when they were in the middle of that run, and you win all these games in a row, and they're beating everybody, and they go all the way to the Super Bowl, and it's like, when can you find a Super Bowl champion where some of the biggest questions that people have are head coach and quarterback? Like, you just don't see that. I don't know, like NFL history, like certainly in the modern era, it's a really, really unique dynamic.
It really is. It's funny. I don't know if you heard any of the opening, but I'm talking about they lost their superpower, right? Their superpower was their offensive line, and their offensive line that bullied people last year. So now they're all banged up, and they don't have the same superpower, in which it didn't matter if you weren't creative, if you didn't have any kind of movement. It didn't matter if the quarterback couldn't throw in windows. None of it mattered because you just ran the ball down people's throats until they wilted. And that was the recipe. And we saw that in 22, right? When they went to the Super Bowl in 22, well, all that RPO stuff, took teams by surprise, man. Jalen in the run game, they couldn't handle it, right? Until defenses adjusted in 23. And then you saw the offense sputter. And then you saw the offense sputter during the first 4 games of last year. And then, this summer, there was a lot of talk about, hey, let's become a throw-heavy team. Let's lean into Jalen, expand, open up the offense. You remember, I was not one of those guys. And you see it. He's not a guy that's going to be a volume thrower.
Well, I think a lot of the stuff from over the offseason and the summer is that you're anticipating that, that run game is not going to be as explosive. It's not going to be as productive as what it was a year ago. And I think that we have seen that. I mean, it was a couple weeks ago, we were saying like this team cannot run the ball right now. They are trying to be that team from a year ago in Tampa. They get that early lead over the Bucs, and now we get into the second half and we're going to strangle them. We're going to go 10-minute drill, and we are going to have, double-digit play drives, and we're just going to chokehold this team through the rest of the second half. And they can't do it. They at that moment, they could not do it. Now, what I would say is that you go into this game against the New York Giants, and this is one of the worst run defenses in the National Football League through the first 5 weeks of the season. And you come out and Saquon Barkley has a 19-yard run, and then he has another double-digit yard run on that opening drive. They go run, 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 run to start. You have one throw, and they're in the end zone, right? After that, we don't really hear from the run game after that. So I get that you had issues running the football through the first 5 weeks, and there was we talked about it. But maybe that is going to have to be their identity. They're not going to be the same exact offense from a year ago. But I think when you have to have that ability to adjust midstream. If you see hey, tonight. The run game's rolling. All right, well, let's see if we can carry this momentum here and build a little confidence and open things up a little bit. And they just could not get the run game going after that opening drive.
No, I think they need to go back to Jalen to be a big part of the run game.
I agree with that. Honestly, I think that getting the court, that was one of the things that we talked about last week on the show, when you guys were just talking about what teams are doing, what opposing defensive coordinators have been doing to Jalen over the last few weeks. I wrote an in-depth piece about it last week, which if you're a diehard, you can go and you can read that. It went up last Monday night, where you look at these sim pressures, where you bring up 6-7 defenders up in the line of scrimmage. And this happens 7 times a game. 8 times a game, but it's in high leverage situations. Hey, it's 3rd and 5, it's 2nd and 11, it's 3rd and 8, whatever. It's these high leverage downs where now all of a sudden you see that Jalen's holding, and then it's a scramble and it's a run for 2, or it's an incomplete, or it's a sack. We've seen this time and time again this year. But you're going to bring all these guys up in the line of scrimmage. You're going to send maybe 4, it could be 3. You're dropping everybody else out into zone coverage. And look, Jalen Hurts, he is not a bad, quote unquote, bad processor, but he's not a strong processor, right? It's not a strength of his game when you look at him compared to other quarterbacks in the NFL. And so if you're going to ask him now to not just read, a typical a cover 2 defense, you're going to have 2 defenders deep and you're going to have 5 underneath with a 4-man rush. Well, now if they're only sending 3 and it's going to be 6 guys underneath, well, now those windows are even tighter. You've got to be more decisive. You need those windows to be even more defined. And it's tough. The other thing about it, too, is that, and remember, after Jason Kelce retired, protections, that shifted into Jalen Hurts' purview. That's under his umbrella now. So that started last year. And what we're seeing is that as teams have crowded the line of scrimmage and they're bringing all these defenders up to the line, he's keeping Dallas Goedert in. He's keeping Saquon Barkley in. And so now you don't have 5 eligibles out in the route. You only have 3 out in the route.
Right.
And so when you have 3 eligible receivers out there, and
with
they're
a flooded zone,
defenders in the coverage, there's just any Peyton Manning's not going to be back there, and that's a tough ask, and so it's becoming increasingly more difficult for Jalen in those situations. Now, when you take that and then you put on top of it that Jalen also he has not been as accurate the last 2 or 3 games as what we've seen from him in the past, because accuracy and ball placement, that's usually been a pretty good strength of his game. That's been one of the best parts of his skill set. And that interception the other night in the red zone, that's a bad miss. The miss to Devontae Smith on that 3rd and long deep ball, that's a bad miss. So if you're going to have issues with the pre-snap protection schemes, if you're going to have issues post-snap with diagnosing and figuring out exactly where you want to go, you can mitigate that if you're making plays with your legs, if they're leaning into it with the run game and you're making plays outside of structure, if you're making big time throws from an accuracy and ball placement standpoint. And since you're not getting any of those right now, on top of the other issues, this is the offense you're going to get. Right. And especially when they're not running the ball the way that we're accustomed to.
Yeah. It's so startling when you watch good teams, but the Eagles have always been that stuff over this era. When you watch good teams on offense, you watched the Lions and Chiefs last night. I mean, It's a masterclass on offense with those 2 guys. Masterclass, right?
Yep.
You watched the Niners and the Buccaneers. It's a masterclass. You watch the Eagles, and it's 3rd grade. It's youth ball. Their offense is so basic. Right now, you're running, twins, right? You're doing, you're cutting off half the field for them. My God, it's basic stuff.
And that's the thing, is that it's not even, because I think everybody hears that and they're like, oh, it's Kevin Patullo. It's Kevin Patullo. this has been a consistent theme, right? Like we have said this with Shane Steichen, we've said it with Brian Johnson, we've said it with Nick Sirianni, we've said it with Kellen Moore last year, we've said it now with Kevin Petula. Like, this is a way that this head coach and this quarterback, this dynamic together, this is the way they want to play. The lack of motion, the lack of play action, the lack of 3-by-1 sets, the lack of all this stuff. This is the way they want to play. They don't attack the middle of the field. Whether it's the quarterback that I can't tell you like what the pie chart looks like there in terms of like, but all I can say is this combination between Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, this is the way that they have consistently played. They've won a lot of games, right? And so and that's why I think it only has like cemented their feelings when it comes to like, no, this is the way we're going to play. We've had a lot of success doing it. At some point, like that, there's going to be ebbs and flows, and right now they're in the middle of a really unfortunate downspout when it comes to this offensive output.
Yeah, no, you bring up a good point. There are going to be ebbs and flows. Like, it's a big part of it, right? Like, you're going to see, 2022 and they look great, and then you're going to see last year alone was an ebb and flow, because even while the middle of the season when they were winning games, there were long stretches where the offense was not productive. I mean, go back even in the playoffs. There was a couple of long stretches where the offense wasn't productive.
Yeah, and look, the pass game is all about timing and rhythm, right? And so honestly, like if defensive coordinators, one of their first goals is how do we disrupt that timing and rhythm? And if you have a quarterback that doesn't major in the ability to be able to operate within timing and rhythm, that's why a lot of these guys that come out of college, they don't necessarily lean into that, and that's why rookie quarterbacks tend to struggle. You have to find that ability to be able to play within that timing and rhythm. That's what Patrick Mahomes was able to do really, really quickly in his career. Josh Allen, it took him a couple years, and then he was able to do it. Lamar Jackson was able to do it. Like all these guys, and now if you've got that ability to play within structure and within rhythm, and then when the play starts to break down, that's when you go outside of structure and you're able to make those plays. Now you're cooking with gas. But I think right now what you're seeing is that when things do break down for Jalen, and they break down too often because of the way that they play, because of the things we've talked about, the lack of all these things that, a lot of people will say like, oh, that makes it, it's like guardrails. It's like training wheels for the quarterback using motion and play action under center. Yeah, it doesn't have to be hard. Like it does. When you look at what Sean McVay does for Matthew Stafford, and what, Kyle Shanahan has done, and what Shane Steichen is doing for Daniel Jones, and what, Kevin O'Connell has done for all of his quarterbacks, like, that's good coaching, right? Like putting your guys in position to be able to make plays, putting your guys in position to be able to be productive players. I think when you look at the way that they just choose to play, you have a smaller margin for error. And so if your offensive line is banged up and you can't run the ball as well, and your quarterback and your receivers aren't on the same page, and your quarterback's not playing all that well, now you have a mediocre offense. And right now, this is a mediocre offense at best when you look at it around the rest of the
Oh, my
NFL.
God, yeah. And here's the issue.
Best.
Here's the issue. You have so much invested on that side of the ball. I mean, you have two elite receivers and elite running back. I mean, and a tight end who's very good when he's healthy, right?
Yep.
It's fair to go like, hey, quarterback is killing you. I mean, the offensive line, the OC is an issue without a doubt. But the quarterback has to play better. Like, you just can't, like, if teams are just going to flood the zone, you just can't not, like execute. Like, it's bad. Like, it's the quarterback needs, you got to help him. I don't know how you do it. But again, I keep going back to go back to RPOs. And I know you don't want to expose him, but that's the only way the offense is going to work right now.
Yeah, and that's what, it makes it really hard, man, because like I said, when you win as many games, Jalen's coming off winning a Super Bowl MVP, and all these time athlete of the year and all that stuff. Like he's got a lot of clout, and he played really well down the stretch last year and deservedly so. Like he's gotten to where he is right now. But when you have these kinds of stretches, that's where like that two-way communication between coach and quarterback is extremely important. Say like, hey, like here are the things that we can do to take some things off your plate to make things easier for you. Allow hit a couple layups to see the ball go through the hoop, and then we could start to throttle back into the way that we wanted to play in the beginning parts of the season. And so we saw a couple weeks ago. All right, now the RPO game, or against Denver. All right, we're gonna go RPO. We're gonna spam that. I'll be interested to see what their answers are, what they kind of get out of this little mini bye here after Thursday Night Football.
Hey, Franny, you've been watching the film of this offense and this quarterback and everything for the last few years. There's a lot of speculation going around social media in our chat right now. Whose offense is this? Is it Patullo's offense, Nick's offense, Jalen's offense?
I mean, it's a cop-out answer, but I think it is the right answer because we've seen it this way over the last few years. This is the Eagles' offense under Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, right? Like all of these things that we talk, all of these through lines. So like the lack of now, can I tell you like, oh yeah, this is 80% Jalen Hurts and 15% Nick Sirianni and 5% Kevin Patullo? Like, no, I can't tell you how that pie chart looks, but all I can say is when you look at all these trends, it doesn't matter who the offensive coordinator is. It doesn't matter who the play caller is. This is the way Jalen Hurts he's very rarely under center. They do very little play action. They do very little motion. They rarely attack the middle of the field. It's 2x2 sets. So it's, 2 receivers to one side, 2 receivers to the other. So they very rarely trend away from that. This is the way that they want to play. Now, is it the way that they feel like they have to play? Is it the way that, hey, Jalen says like, no, I want to play this way. Don't make me do other stuff because this is the way I want to do it. I can't tell you the reasons for it, but it's very clear that it doesn't matter who the offensive coordinator is. This is the structure. I mean, it's just, we talked about it going into last year when they brought in Kellen Moore. It was like, oh, like there's going to be more under center. Oh, there's going to be more motion. Look at what Kellen Moore has done in years past. Look at what Kellen Moore's doing right now in New Orleans. That wasn't the way it was here in Philadelphia. It was a different structure. So
I can tell you that Kellen sometimes felt constricted in what he could run.
Yeah.
That's, and by the way, it's obvious if you watch any bit of the Saints, and he's got nothing in New Orleans, but they're a much more creative offense.
Way better than I thought they would be.
In New Orleans, it just is what it is. Hey, defensively, so what did you see? What were your big takeaways from Thursday night? Obviously, when you don't have Quinyon and you don't have Carter, that defense is so vulnerable.
Yeah, you're down 2 of your 3 best players on defense. Without you had Zach Bond out there, but without Quinyon and Carter, that certainly hurts. Without Nolan Smith, who's been out really since week 1, that certainly hurts. I think that with this group, after going back through the tape, it wasn't as bad against the run as what I thought it was going. I thought it was going to, oh man, like they got out physical, and they did, especially down the stretch. When you get into the fourth quarter, I think the dam just kind of broke there. This game, what this one reminded me of, Ant, was remember in 2022, the Super Bowl year, Monday, I think it was a Monday night game against Washington. Brian Robinson was a rookie third-round pick.
Yeah.
They just kind of matriculated the ball and was like, oh man, like Washington really controlled. It was the first loss of the year. And it was like, man, they really controlled the line of scrimmage. That's kind of how it felt. Like I didn't go back through the tape and thought, man, like they just got overwhelmed at the point of attack through the first 2 or 3 quarters. I don't think that was the case. They had some well-timed plays. The bigger problem in this one, look, in high leverage moments, you had some bad penalties. Keely Ringo gave up some catches. He gets boxed out.
Yeah, he's rough.
He did not have a great game. I think that when you look at it, it was more of like a talent and execution issue. Where I think to me the offensive stuff is more like structural and process, and like your highest paid players aren't playing to that level. Whereas on defense, there's a little bit more forgiveness there with what we saw on Thursday night.
Yeah. All right. I got to get you to Penn State. So $49 million buyout. A team that we all thought was going to be a national championship contender that went to the playoffs last year. And they lost to Northwestern. Allersdale out for the year. It's been a complete debacle ever since the Oregon game.
2 weeks ago, they're scoring a touchdown and going to overtime against Oregon. Like it was like, oh yeah, like if you said at that moment, that Saturday, 9:30, that Saturday night, and you said, hey, in 2 weeks, James Franklin's going to be fired. Could you imagine like what would need to happen from that point to then? You would say like, yeah, they would need to lose this game, and then they would need to lose badly to UCLA and to Northwestern, and that's exactly what's happened. It's insane how fast things fell apart there at Penn State, and there's a lot of layers there. Obviously, Aller did not play particularly well. It's nuts, man. I mean, defensively, because that's the thing is like there were flashes in every game, but there was never like that one win, even before the Oregon game, where it was like, oh yeah, like all right, this is a fully fledged version of this team. Even defensively, it was like, oh, like there were good moments, and I like the way the DBs are playing physical, and you had some good moments up front, but there was never like that dominant performance, and it's crazy how fast things fell apart.
Well, it is, and they never, bringing back your quarterback, going to the portal for receivers, and bringing back those 2 running backs. They never leaned into that. I thought that they would be able to run it against anybody, and I just never saw it.
Well, and that's what makes this era of college football so interesting is that you have whoever's supplying all the money for the NIL, right? For these to keep all these players, to keep all this talent. Why, if you are the guys signing those checks, if you're the people signing those checks, why would you do it again this offseason after you just did it and these are the results, right? And so that's why I think you're going to see schools more willing to make a change like this because you have to do it to be able to you got to keep the money flowing. Otherwise, you're saying like, all right, well, what am I paying for right now? It's a new dynamic. Obviously,
it's a lot more like the NFL.
No question. And honestly, like Penn State's ability to pay the buyout over the course of years as opposed to one large sum, I think that certainly helps in this situation. It makes it a little bit of an easier pill to swallow. But I'll be fascinated to see who they end up hiring, for this job.
Yeah, I will too. Well, the elephant in the room is Matt Rule, and I'll be talking to him later today because we do our podcast on Mondays. And, I do know that it's always been a dream job, Penn State. He lived there, right? Pat Kraft, who I love, is the AD, was at Temple during Matt's run. And it just makes a lot of sense. The buyout is only $8 million. Now, the question becomes, which is, how do you, this was unexpected. Now, at some point, I could see Pat, now again, I don't know anything, but if you're thinking about making a change and you have that relationship, I mean, off the record conversations happen, right? It's just part of the world. Hey, would you be interested? That sort of thing. But you're Matt, you are in year 3. And, you're committed to a really historic program. You got a great quarterback. You're trending right. Hopefully for them next year is their year where they could actually make a run at the playoff.
Yep.
It's a lot to think about.
It's not an easy decision. And the other big thing is that this is not college football of 2010. This is not college football of 2005. Curt Cignetti is proving that. Curt Cignetti could very well, let's just say that Penn State said, "Hey, we want to hire Curt Cignetti. He's the first guy he's the first person we want to talk to. He's the first person we're going to offer the job to." Curt Cignetti could legitimately, the head coach at Indiana, the head football coach at Indiana, could tell Penn State, "No, thanks. I think I have a better chance to win a national title here at Indiana." That is nuts. You couldn't have said that 2 years ago. And so I think that's the nature of NIL and the portal and this entire dynamic is that the parity in college football is greater than it's ever been. So to me, the pedigree of some of these big name programs like a Penn State, I don't think that carries as much weight.
No, it doesn't.
A few years ago. But if you're an alum, like Matt Rule, that changes the arithmetic a little bit when you have those kinds of dynamics at play.
I know it's interesting. It's an interesting situation. We have someone that lived there, that played there, that coached there. And it's open. I mean, it's hard not for him to think, hey, this is destiny type of thing. And I love Nebraska, but. And listen, he would kill it recruiting in this area. This area has become a very good hotbed of talent, and he would kill it here. You know.
Yeah, I mean, and then you obviously have the whole western side of the state. I mean, the recruiting footprint in this region of the country compared to Nebraska, like, I mean, it's not close. You know, it's and that's the big thing is that yes, like when you're at Nebraska, you're going to get all the big guys, you know, all the big kids in Nebraska. Like you're going to get, but it's slim pickings compared to more fertile areas of the country. Certainly, like
you're in Nebraska. He's heavily recruiting Texas, right? Like you got to hit Texas, and you got to get lucky in California.
But everybody's getting, Texas. Right. You're competing with Texas. You're competing with A&M. You're competing with.
Well, that's why he hired. Now. He brought half his staff from Baylor there, so he could, be competitive in Texas. Because you gotta hit it, brother. Interesting times we live in.
Well, listen. Speaking of college football, I would be remiss if I didn't say. I believe this week at some point the my draft board, all my notes on players are going live. So if you are not a diehard, and you're like, oh man, like how are the Eagles going to get better? Make sure you become a diehard right now because all of my reports on all these college prospects will be available here in the coming days at allphly.com.
Oh, that's a dream. Make sure you become a diehard. This is unbelievable stuff. You will love it. Franny, great stuff, brother. We love you, man.
Appreciate it, guys. We'll talk soon.
There he is, Fran Duffy on the Xfinity guest line. What's the matter?
Nothing. It's just not. Nothing. I need a little optimism.
I hear you. I don't like doing these shows.
Thank God we have one guest coming up that's going to hopefully lighten the mood.
Brain?
Yes, Brain.
Not Murph.
It's not Murph. It's not. God forbid if it wasn't for BG, I don't know if I can make it through this show.
Brain.
Brain, brain, brain. Red, the brain finder.
Brought to us by the Xfinity, brought to us by the Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app. Here he is. Good morning, La Brain. Where are you?
Hey, good morning, VJ. It's all right, man.
It's all your fault, Brain. It's all your fault. Yeah, you told us you bet against the Birds basically to win the Super Bowl. You're like, it's very hard, Anthony. Can I tell you something, Anthony? It's very hard to stay healthy in this league. They got lucky last year. It's not. Chances are it's not happening this year. You put the kibosh on us.
Well, that and maybe the fact that their offense has just become worse than the league.
Yeah, because the offensive line dings up. If the offensive line's healthy, they're fine. Thanks.
Yeah,
Brandon.
I mean, look, but you see, it's interesting. The NFL, you just see it like we watched Detroit for 4 straight weeks roll through everyone, and then and you watch Kansas City look so mediocre for 5 games in a row, and then the NFL it changes so quickly. It really is a league where, unless you're the Jets, it changes week to week. Eagles certainly the talent's there, but I just worry about. Again, the problem is I worry about both the offense and the defense, but obviously they got to get this ship righted, and it's an interesting game against Minnesota.
What the line on Bet Parks is 3? Is that correct?
I thought it was 2.5.
2.5.
Go up to 3 now? It's 3.5? No. Is it? No, it's 2.5. 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah, 2.5. If it was 3.5,
BG goes, they can't lose this game. Yes, they can.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it's the Wentz effect. Come on.
Yeah, but is this going to be
a
tough
total
game?
Spaz.
There'll be nothing worse than losing to that guy.
But
I know. That's why I'm saying it can't happen.
Oh, it's going to be an interesting game. Again, they need a game like this to hopefully wipe the stink off. By the way, I don't know. We didn't really speak much about it. About the Giants game, I have to tell you, again, Jackson Dart to me, guys, and I am extremely impressed. I don't know if you agree, disagree. When I look at the NFC,
I mean, I like the kid. I told you that I thought the kid should have started.
You did. When I look at the NFC, so now you have Daniels and him, and Dak is playing the best he's ever played. Like Dallas stinks, so. But Washington and New York, who are like a laughing stock for it seems like seemingly forever, they're they drafted good young quarterbacks, right? It's not.
I mean, that's what
It's
happens.
one of those.
Right? You don't stay that. At some point you get it right, even by luck. So it
Yeah, at
took the
some point you
Giants
get it right
20
even
years.
by luck.
Well, and maybe they had it with Daniel Jones, didn't understand it because they couldn't figure it out. But Indiana Jones,
The Daniel Jones thing I'll never
rolling.
get. But yeah, I'm just saying for the Eagles' point of view, the pressure's on this team to keep drafting well, and because I think those two teams, the arrow, especially for the Giants, is clearly pointing up. So, but I don't know. We'll see. But again, Eagles really still are the favorite to win the division. And listen, who in the NFC is that great? Who in the football is that great, Anthony? There's no one that you're like, oh my God, this team's unbeatable. They're incredible. They can't be beaten. There's no one.
No, it's the league. The league itself is like that. But my fear is, if the O-line doesn't get back to its strength, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't get back, then who are you? Because they are their O-line. They win. They won. They've won consistently during this era, really since 2018, 2017, because of their defensive line and offensive line.
Yeah, I agree. It's been a constant in life for sure. And again, I say when that evaporates, it's amazing. Everyone's IQ seems to go down, right? No one looks as smart.
And the line needs to be not just okay. Like some teams can win with a good line.
No.
The Eagles need that line to be exceptional for them to win.
Yeah, and again, they certainly have, again, on the offensive side of the ball, especially the coaching to make you think that it could hopefully get corrected. But listen, again, it's been a disappointing start for this team. I mean, the last 2 weeks especially have been just really bad losses. But again, 17-game season. Again, look at it's not only who you play, but it's when you play them. Hopefully, as I said, they can make the playoffs and come week 17. Things do improve. Last year, listen, let's go back. VG, you want some optimism? Let's go back.
Yes.
It was like almost exactly a year ago. They were in Tampa Bay, similar to the Giants game. If I told you that team is winning the Super Bowl and by like maybe the biggest blowout in Super Bowl route history, you'd be like, oh my God, they just lost to Tampa Bay by 40. This is not the best team in the NFL. And they won, I think, 15-0 or whatever it was after that game. That would maybe be something you'd say, okay, listen, we could look absolutely atrocious 1 week and then run an amazing streak off. It's not impossible, but they just got to do it. That's the thing.
Offensive line was way
Jalen
healthier
Hurts
last year. That's the issue.
Jalen Hurts can't miss wide receivers who are 64 yards wide open. That would also help as well.
Well, he also needs to figure out how to play when they flood the zone against him.
Yeah, that Devonta Smith throw.
That's a major issue. Like, we're looking at it, and Franny and I were just talking about it. I mean, if you're looking for the blame pie, you got Sirianni, you got Patullo, you got Hurts, right? And wherever you want to kind of carve it up. But the offense has looked similar in its struggles across the OC board. It looked like that. I saw it like that with Steichen. I saw it like that with Johnson. I saw it like that at times with Kellen Moore, and you see it now.
Sure. No, you're being fair. Again, you're being fair. But again, listen, this is the NFL. No one's going to feel bad for you. In fact, teams are ecstatic that they're not playing well.
I know this shit is crazy.
Of course. No, I'm with it was BG. All right.
Yeah. So hopefully they get the shit right.
All right. Let me ask you. Tonight we got a doubleheader, Monday Night Football. Who you like?
Bills 3.5. Only way I could look would be the Buffalo side. I mean, they obviously had a very disappointing game against New England. I think it's gonna be a high scoring game. Total right now on the Bet Park site's 50, but I actually think it's going to touch that number. I do. I think Buffalo will first digit's going to be a 3, and I think the Falcons can also score as well here. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. Lean Buffalo, lean over, and then the other game. It's interesting. The line's now up to 5.5. No, it's funny. My initial thought was probably Washington, but now I don't know. 5.5 is a lot of points, and Washington, I just don't think they're that good. That's my issue with them. I know the Bears aren't that good, but outside of the quarterback for Washington, I really don't like their team. And now again, the quarterback, which is everything. But I watched them. I just don't think they're that good of a team at all. And I think that the Bears got the right head coach. I'm a big fan of his. I think Johnson's changed the trajectory of this team. I've kind of changed my mind on this one. Initially, I was on the going to go potentially and bet on Washington. Now, the more I study it, the more I look at matchups. I think the Bears can keep this one close within the 5.5. I cannot lay 5.5. I would be on the Bears, and I do like prop wise. Look, this guy's been very disappointing. But as bad as he's been bad. But his last 13 games, he's gotten over 3.5 catches 12 of 13 times. I like DJ more over 3.5 catches. Now, he's been bad, but he still seems to go over that every game. That's a pretty big bet for me in this game. I thought that line should have been 4.5. That's my biggest bet of the night, actually, is DJ Moore over 3.5 catches.
All right. Baseball gets underway tonight. The NLCS Dodgers Brew Crew.
Yeah, well, listen, Snell's going. Like, I will say this, it's funny. I think the Dodgers are going to win this series. Milwaukee's they're just a team they would annoy me to play. I think that they're like kind of like very scrappy, and they're probably going to be somewhat competitive here, but I'm not looking to fade Blake Snell the way he's looked. And this Dodgers pitching staff right now, it's just too good to me. Now, I did bet under in the other game, the Toronto game, 5-inning line. I bet under 4.5 runs on the Park site. You can lay minus, I think it's $1.48 or something like that. With Yasevich and Gilbert, I really do not expect 5 runs to be scored through the 5-inning line in that game. I will be stunned if there'll be 5 runs scored. I think it'll be 1-1, 0-0, 2-1. I love the unders in these games with these elite pitchers and no quick hooks. I think it's hard to score in these postseason games. Extremely hard. We see it every game.
Right.
Every game is basically 1-0, 2-1. And I don't think there's going to be runs scored in that one. I thought that line was a full run off. I think it should have been closer to 3 or 3.5. So give me that under.
All right. Sounds good.
What's behind you? Trading cards?
No. It's actually fun. No, it's this is a collage of the 50 best NBA players of all time with their autographs, with their signatures.
Nice.
So it's a pretty cool piece. Yeah, it has like
Did you
Jordan,
got all the
Charles
signatures?
Yeah, you could see it right here. Yeah, it's like Charles Barkley,
That's
Julius
awesome.
Irving.
That's a cool
Yeah,
thing.
it's a pretty cool piece.
I love it, man. You're as big as geek as I am, man. I love that stuff.
I mean,
I love players.
Yeah, no.
I gotta tell you, to this day, I just love players. Like, I love watching different guys and all that stuff.
Of course.
When I was a kid, I was the biggest loser. You know what I would do? I used to keep, I was 12 years old. I would, you have construction paper.
Yeah.
Right? So I would cut out pictures and articles, like every sport. So basketball, I would do I had green construction paper for all the bird stuff. Obviously, I had Doc, Moses, Andrew for the Sixers. I had, who else? There was like Magic.
Would you glue them onto the construction?
Oh yeah. I'd have these books that I made of these players. George Gervin from the Spurs.
Love Gervin.
The Iceman.
Right.
Did you have that poster? Did you have the George Gervin poster?
I had that poster. Yes.
That was the best.
Yeah.
How about the Roger Clemens one where he's throwing fire? See that?
Yeah,
one?
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
Yeah.
To this day, I still love sports, man. It's amazing. As much as it kicks you in the junk, it's the greatest thing in the world. Greatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
I think back to those days, man. I like those Marcus Johnson from the Bucks.
Marcus Johnson, what a great name from the past. Number 8, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
UCLA guy too. But yeah, that was listen, Anthony, I'm with you. I love it too. And that's why we have it. You know what? Yes, this week may have been rainy, but things can and do change. It's like blackjack, right? You go through good shoes and bad shoes. Went through a bad shoe. There'll be a good shoe around the corner.
I like it.
I promise you.
I like it. I like it. Brain, we love you, buddy. You're the greatest. Thanks,
Appreciate
buddy.
you both.
There he is. Brain,
guys.
brought to us by the Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app. Coming up, we get cheered up in this dreary day. We'll get cheered up by our man, B Gee, nobody cheers us up like Brandon Graham. He is the antidote for bad weather.
And bad sports.
Let's talk about the Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app. Talk about our friends. All right. So you say Eagles 2.5. He says Eagles 2.5 against Minnesota. What's the total?
It is. It dropped 0.5 point.
Oh, God.
That's what we talked. 42.5.
42. That's low, man. Yeah. That's low.
Once again, Buccaneers 20-1 to win the Super Bowl on the Bet Park site.
What about tonight? So tonight you have...
Stop with that, man.
Bills -3.5 against the Falcons.
So this is an interesting thing. I guess the public is all over Buffalo, but the line dropped.
Ooh, I love a good reverse line movement. Let's see.
So everybody loves the Bills, but the reverse line movement is in play.
That's a Falcons tease.
Yes.
Tease at the 11.5 with the Falcons, or 10.5 with the Falcons.
9.5.
Well, I'm looking at a different thing right now.
Yeah, I don't know what you're looking at.
Yeah, 3.5. Get you 9.5.
It could be, feels like a Bills 27, Falcons 24 game.
Big game for Bijan.
Yeah, I can totally see it. Is
Jaden playing tonight for the Commanders?
Yes, Jaden's playing tonight. Washington, Chicago.
5.5.
That's an interesting game. That's good. Hey, listen, I like to see Caleb. I love Daniels. I like to see the two of them go at it. It'll be fun. Young quarterbacks. They have it all. The Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app. Always another way to win on the app. Blackjack, roulette, live, like from live dealer, right on your screen, on your phone. Boom. Hit me.
Boom.
You got it. All the slots.
That game is also a reverse line movement. The over dropped from 48.5 it went up from 48.5 to 49.5 with 79% of the bets on the under. So tease the over in that game and the Falcons.
Here you go.
Be happy.
I like it. BetParks.com has all the details. Got to be in PA, New Jersey, Michigan, Maryland, Ohio. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Let's talk about Ace Hardware Home Services, helping us all out, us guys and people who have no idea how to fix anything around the house. So if you got an outlet you said you fixed last summer, or a faucet, Ace Hardware Home Services, they got people for that. Because now they're not just the helpful hardware folks, they're also the helpful home service and repair folks. So from plumbing, heating, electrical, cooling, they got trusted pros, keep your house running all year long. And they're bringing the helpful home, the helpful you love from the store, all the way to your door, from Philly down to the Jersey Shore. They bring experience. They got local plumbers and techs that handle everything from repairs to seasonal maintenance, installations, upgrades. They listen to your goals, jobs never done till you're totally satisfied. They work with your budget. They give you options for your budget, your home, and their services. They're all local. Their teams live and work amongst us. They're our neighbors, and they're dedicated to keeping their neighbors comfortable in their own home. So if you got a project you need fixed, then visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com. Get started on your next home repair project.
I like it. I like it. Now, here it is.
Please.
Brought to us by the Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app and Parks Casino. To look at Thursday night and to shed to give us some hope.
Just a smile.
That's right.
Just a smile.
The great Brandon Graham. BG!
There it is.
What's up, man? Good morning.
See, right away to smile.
Feel better already.
Right away, you make us feel better, brother. Right away. Man. Thank you.
It's been a tough weekend. It's definitely been a tough weekend. But as you know, this is the league. This the NFL, baby. This how it go. It's everybody's good any given Sunday. So now it's back to the drawing boards with the Eagles. It's okay. We've been here before. I'm excited, man.
Last year.
Can't wait.
So let me go into your head, all right? Let's look at your football mind, all right? How do we fix this offense? We know that last year the O-line was the strength of it was the superpower, right? Like the O-line on offense could bully teams. It didn't matter how many guys were in the box. It didn't matter if they were predictable, because they just run through you. That's what it was. But now, after all those seasons, that wear and tear on the body, a lot of injuries, banged up, they're not the same. So how does this offense fix itself when you can't lean into the run and they're having real problems with team flooding the zone, showing blitz, backing out, and flooding the zone? How do you fix this offense?
Well, you know what? It's going to take a collective because, as you know, we got a first-year offensive coordinator as far as, calling plays and stuff like that with KP. And for him, everybody has to be hands on deck. Everybody has to have their input. We all have to be on the same page because as a team, we got to be able to do it together because it might not look like what you thought it should look like, individually sometimes. But like what Jalen says all the time, it's about winning. I don't care if I throw for 150, but we win the game. It's about managing it well together. And of course, on defense, that was not a good showing against the Giants. Them guys went out there, made the two rookies look really good, and they are really good. I can't give them, I got to give them their credit. They went out there and got it done. But if I know the team like I know them, they got some pride about themselves. And so now they just got to get back to the drawing board. They got a 10-day break until it's time to go play. And so now hopefully they come back this week and get focused. I mean, they got a good coaches on defense, especially Vic. And man, they just got to go out there and just flush it. It's one of them games like last year when we played Tampa. It was just not as good of a showing as the team that we had. And of course we was down players like AJ didn't play that last year. A lot of guys was injured. And this year it's the same thing. Some people, we didn't have everybody. Cute Quinyon got out. We already didn't have Landon. And I felt like they went after Brett Toff a whole lot that game because it's familiar territory. Him and Brian Burns was in Carolina together, so I knew he probably gave him the insight on some stuff, and that's what you seen. And but I know for him it was a great learning lesson for him. And so, man, now it's just about just all hands on deck.
All right, so I could to me, I give the defense a pass, right? Like when you don't have Quinyon and Jalen, you're missing your two best players, right? And your back end is already struggling with CB2. You take Quinyon's one of the best cover guys in the league, right? So you take that away, and then you have no pass rush because Carter's out. I mean, it's gonna make the defense, no matter who's out there, they're gonna struggle. Offensively, what I want to see, I've been thinking about this and knowing everybody's strengths, is I'd like to lean back into the RPO game where I need to get Jalen back into the run game. He needs to play that role. Jalen's strength as a quarterback, I equate it to a point guard. He's a point guard on offense, right? It's 3rd and 4. If I can get 5 yards of my legs, I see it, I'm going to go get the first down. All right? I can usually he's money on those deep balls, right? He's a point guard. He reminds me of, Damian Lillard, right? He could play, he could do that.
Yes.
You gotta get him back in the run game, man. Because the way it is now, he's not going to pick apart his zone like that. He's just not who he is.
Yes, and you're right. It has to be. He has to threaten them definitely with his legs. And I remember last year, a lot of those quarterback runs. You've seen how many. I mean, he scored in the playoffs against the Rams. That was a big play early on in that game. And now it changes everything with the coaches and how they call it and what you have to look out for. It just add another avenue where you have to, stop them. And so, I definitely agree with you on that. That's like his superpower because it opens up so many different things. I hate he missed Devontae on the deep ball, but that's uncharacteristic sometimes because he does have a great deep ball, and we know that. I just feel like that was just that type of game. But yes, we do need to include him more into the run a little more. We need to open it up, and then we got to get back healthy, of course.
Yeah, I mean, the health of the O-line's everything. But what you can do, and this is where I need Patullo and Sirianni to kind of help this, right? You got to be more creative on offense. You see yesterday, right? And you're watching what the Niners are doing with Mac Jones, all right? You watch Andy and the Lions, and you look at that, it's like Dan Campbell. And Dan Campbell loses Ben Johnson, but the Lions didn't lose any creativity, right? Dan Campbell's a big part of that offense. This is where the coaches have to come in and be more creative. You don't see a lot of movement. You don't see a lot of different formations and creative formations. You gotta dive in now.
Yeah, you definitely got to dive in. And man, we had so many different people come through Philly, and I know we should have been like learning from all them. Everybody that comes in, we could take a little piece. Every coach that I've ever had, I've taken a little piece. I might not like everything, but I've taken a little piece of what works and what kind of personnel that I had in at the time that he was here, and what worked for us during that time. And then you just add those different flavors, especially with Nick Sirianni being here the longest out of all the coaches. And so I would have like different things I would throw out and be like, hey, I like this. What you think about this? It's a lot of talking within the minds, and then us coming up, no ego, just going out there. Hey, all of us look good when the offense is flowing. So let's start working on these different things. And like you said, you gotta be creative, because in this league, man, it's a copycat league. Everybody's gonna play us the same until you stop it. And so it's gonna be the same thing. So now, man, now they gotta just go out there and just do it. And I feel like, yeah, it's just about everybody
look,
coming
you
together.
got think about your disposal, right? You got two great receivers. You got a tight end who's playing really well when he's healthy. He's a terrific tight end. You got Saquon, and you got a quarterback that is a multi-weapon, right? Well, because he's so athletic and such a good, strong, sturdy runner. Now it's time to put all that in motion, man. Like you got to mix this stuff up a little bit, because I do worry. You worry about the room. I mean, you've seen it, like, team meetings, all this stuff. Like, you worry a little bit about that.
Yeah, because you want them to handle it the best way. You don't want us to beat ourselves, and that's the biggest thing. What we all dealt with last year, and that's why I say that these guys are battle tested. It's just now it's a lot of guys that left, but now it's guys that need to step up and handle and take some of the ownership of, man, you know what? I ain't gonna let that defeat me. I'm not gonna let this little thing right here of what I thought I should be getting, or what my personal goal is. It's like, if you really buy in to the team and everything that goes in and week out, man, you don't know what's waiting on you at the end, like it was for us last year, where everybody balled in that Super Bowl game. And it was so great to see how everything came together. All the stuff that happened way before, you don't even talk about it until you get to the next season. And if you start to show different signs from last season in the early stages, then that's what we're doing. We're talking about that right now. But man, they still got a long way to go, and they got, man, everything right in front of them, because Dallas lost this weekend. The NFC East is up for grabs. We 4-2. We 0-1 or 1-1 in the division, and so now we got to make sure that we taking it 1 week at a time. Today, let's focus on Minnesota. Let's get the game plan together. Let's look at other teams and what they've done that expose their defense, because I'm sure you got plays in there that you can copycat and take from others, and man, that'll be a good thing. And then you get back to opening up the run, getting Jalen involved and RPOs, like you said, and now get them to play honest ball, because if everybody know what you're gonna do, they're gonna stack the box, and like you say, they're gonna push them out of there, zone it up, and then they're gonna try to make you beat them little by little down the field until you make your mistake. And so I know right now it takes everybody in this, man.
Yeah,
so I'm
man. I mean, you go back to the RPO game and get him involved in games. All of a sudden, RPO play action will start to work a little bit again. Like, it just gives you variables to your offense.
That's what brought us back in the last game. I mean, the Rams game.
Yeah.
The Rams game. You seen them?
Yes.
You seen them? You had somebody coming across, and they had to honor it. Dallas Goedert, he had some big plays in there. I mean, Devontae Smith had some big plays in there, and then it opened up the deep ball to the one-on-one with AJ. And that's what you want right there. And so, yeah, man, we really do have to get Jalen more involved, get his legs, get him running in, and then on top of that, like you said, move in the pocket. We hurting. You normally, when you got a not a banged up on line, you have to move the pocket. You have to get these D linemen tired to where they got to run sideline to sideline to play with you, because when you getting the ball out quick, you taking the D-line out of it, because most of the time they not running to the ball or running to the outside as much, especially if you wore them down from a little couple runs. You got to keep them honest. But, man, you're right. Right there, the RPO game, we think about sacks as a D lineman. We trying to get to that point where we 3rd and long. And if you stay ahead of the sticks, and which I know in the RPO game you do, that's an extension of the run. That's when you get those quick little throws and you get 5 to 6 yards a pop on those, man, that wears down the defense.
Brother, you were at it a long time. You ups, downs, the whole thing. You lose a game like that. What happens today? Like, it's Monday, right? Everybody's back. What happens today?
Well, Nick Sirianni is going to have a great team meeting, which he does. I like his team meetings because he just tells everything. Sometimes it's one of them games where you just got to flush it. It's like, coach, all right, coach, we know what that was. That's uncharacteristic of us, but we are still going to watch the tape. But he don't have to go crazy in the team meeting because we already kind of understand that. We have some time to think about it. Like our temperature is down a little more from as you've seen the game. You start to see what really happened, and then you do something about it. Now it's about Minnesota. It's like, all right, Minnesota see the same film we seen. They're going to come here. We're going to go in there, and they're going to try the same thing in their house, and we got to make sure that we put that fire out. And once we do that, then it's like, how you going to now give us your best shot, because that's not opened up. So it's just about details, man. It's about how we handle the week, how the guys practice, because it was a short week last week. You should get a little more under yourself, your legs, get your legs back a little bit. You should be able to, enjoy a good weekend with your family. And now, man, it's just a Monday. You come in, you get a good lift in, you talk about it. What's the plan for Wednesday? Then tomorrow off, and then Wednesday we get at it. And now, man, that's where your leaders step up right there. Now it's time to go get it.
Man, when BT starts rolling like that, gets me excited. Yeah. Like, I'm ready to go for a lift.
I hate lifting. I'm ready to lift.
I'm ready to go.
Hey, ready to go, because they hear us talking. They hear us talking. When I was in that locker room, that's what I heard. And so it's like it's either using as motivation or you're gonna cry about it, and then it's gonna continue to keep having that ripple effect. I want to fight every time. I'm gonna fight back. So what you gonna do today? It's about what you do today.
So you brought up looking ahead to Minnesota. Mm-hmm. So I gotta ask you, when I say Carson Wentz to you, what comes to your mind?
Man, Carson Wentz, I pay much respect to him, man, because when he was here, man, he helped us get in position to get that first bowl. And, man, I know for him, things didn't work out in the way he wanted it to work out, but he was a big part of, especially, starting the run for us, of everything that came in, the excitement that he was, coming in. He's a winner. He's this. And that's one thing I will say, man. He's a guy that knows how to play ball. And I'm happy that he had found a home with the quarterback being out, and he's able to come in and play and, kind of get a better taste in his mouth. Not this week. It's just but for him, yeah, it is. It is. When I think about him, I'm always thinking of how he started this thing, and just what he propelled us to for this run that we've been going on the last 5 years or 7 years.
Yeah, it's wild, man. When you think about it, right? Like, he comes in and the story is such a movie, a cinematic kind of story, where he comes in from North Dakota, second pick of the draft, right? Whole nine. He's the franchise quarterback. Second year, I remember the first year, you and he went up to you, he was on the sidelines, he was mic'd up. And it was a great, cool moment. You were kind of guiding him a little bit, get fired up with him. It was a cool moment. And then the next year, right? It's the Ascent, and then the Rams game happens. And it was just a wild story that still, sometimes how it ended was crazy to me.
Yeah, man. It's like, man, we just paid him too. He was all good. And then injuries popped up. And that's when I started to see, it's like, man, this game is this what this game is, man. You got to stay healthy. You got to be available in this, and the ones that can stay available and be here, those usually be the ones that stay the longest. And for me, I'm thankful that I was able to stay as long as I could. Then stay healthy at a crucial time where things could have went left if I'd have got hurt at the wrong time. And they want to bring in someone new, and man, you just don't know what the future holds. But I'm happy to see him still in the league. I hope them boys go out there and get 9 sacks like Denver just did. Them boys was out there playing against the Jets, man, and just kind of get a better taste in their mouths. But they got a challenge this week. Minnesota's no slouch. Got to be able to stop the run. Got to be able to get after Justin Jefferson. And I hope for Quinyon, he's back, and everybody just flushed that last one because that it was what it was on that one.
Yeah, no, you got to listen. We know Carson from all those years. He has a propensity to play hero ball, so you want him playing hero ball so you can capitalize on mistakes. And you need Carter back too, like Jalen in the middle of that line. You need him playing it like who he himself, because you know better than anybody. People are afraid of that kid.
When he is on, he is the one that happy that he's on the side with you. I mean, last year, man, he saved our season against the Rams. As you know, he was all year, but that was a big one in that moment. He was ready for the moment. He was able to make a move and go out there, punch the ball out against the running back, then go out there and make a sack that helped us win that game, man, on a drive that, man, we would have lost that one if he wasn't there. But, yeah, we need Jalen Carter. Don't need no more surprises, because that one kind of threw me for a loop when they say he wasn't playing, because, man, I'm looking forward to seeing him terrorizing like he did last year, getting better from last year to this year. And now it's just about being available. But I know he's doing a great job of working. I've been in there, been watching, seeing him. And now it's just about, man, making sure that you when it's time to go, man, let's go. Get everybody rolling, because when he's good, he makes everyone around him better. And that's what I explain to him all the time. Because it's not just about your performance. It's about when you do perform, everybody else is better because of you. Because now they got to worry about you. And so, yeah, man, I'm excited to see how he comes back this week.
BG, first of all, you always deliver. You always make us feel better. All right? You God bless your spirit. All right, man, it's great to have you on Mondays. I wanted you on Mondays because I knew that, A, if we won, it'd be fun. But B, if we lost, you'd make us feel better. So we love you, brother.
Nah, I love y'all too, man. Let's go, baby. Let's go. You see where we at? You see where we at? You see? It's time. Hey, don't worry about the outside noise. Let's keep it in here, and then let's show it on Sunday, baby.
God bless you, brother. BG, there he is.
Let's go.
Let's go. Thanks, BG. The greatest.
Thank you.
There he is. He's got the best spirit.
I feel like I just did a shot of green juice, ready to go. All kinds of vitamins and nutrients.
Yeah, him on a Monday is perfection.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I was like, I want BG on a Monday.
Yeah, really good moves.
Listen, sometimes when you look at it so, I don't say scientifically, but I kind of look at it detached. So, like, I look at it more clinically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when you look at it clinically, it doesn't compute. And, like, having BG to give you the emotional side of it helps out.
Yeah. I'm more on the emotional side. This clinical objective stuff.
But the reason why I look at it clinically is because it gives you perspective. Like, it gives you reality. Like, walking around delusional isn't good.
The only thing I may say is he said they got to block out the noise coming from the outside. Noise might be coming from the inside.
Well, I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree. But listen, I gave you my fix. Everybody seems to agree with it.
RPOs?
Yep.
Chat's got a little love for Frank Reich. Want this guy to come back.
Yeah, the answer is not who's been here but who's never been here.
And can you do it at this point in the season? Like bring somebody new and install a new offense?
They're not doing it.
It's too much. It's too much.
You're not going to
not a new offense. It's just little tweaks.
But you're not. The answer never is like who's been here. I don't believe. The answer needs to be quarterback needs to play better.
That's what it feels like.
And the coaching staff needs to be more creative and help him and lean into the RPO.
See, that's where I have no hope. I think the quarterback can be better. I don't think the coaching staff's going to get more creative.
Well, again, but this is something you already dealt with. Like, right, you've been through it. This is why I talk about Sirianni. This is where I go, dude, this is on you. The first-time play caller. This is on the head coach who comes from the offensive side of the ball. Fix it.
Yeah, we saw how that happened with Brian Johnson. Wasn't a big fix.
Well, guess what? That was 2 years ago. You've went through it. You went through last year.
It's not like
you saw what Kellen Moore. Hey, dude, you lived through what Kellen Moore did to help fix it. All right, like you got to know things.
Yeah,
you see things. You got to grow as head coach. You know, it's not rocket science, man. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, I wonder what Kellen would look like with the offensive line that's banged up. I mean, that's the Achilles heel. This offensive line.
All right, let's take care of some business. And it's a Murphy Monday. Yeah, from BG to Murph. Murph's gonna be like,
oh man, talk about
polarization.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, listen, because he looks at it from an objective standpoint, and objectively, it's not good.
No, he did a great piece over the weekend too about the middle lineup, Marsh and
he's right on
from sunshine.
I loved it
Sunshine to rain.
Marsh and Bohm in the middle of the lineup.
He's right. He's right. It's what I've been talking about. All right, tell us about some Shady Rays.
Let's do it. You might not even think today you need your Shady Rays, but even when there's overcast, there's UV rays out there, and they do affect the eyes, and it just makes makes it seeing the world better with a good pair of shades. And if you get a nice pair of shades, sometimes you might be a little hesitant to bring them on the road or on adventures with you. You don't want to lose them. I know, because I've been there. I lost a really nice pair of sunglasses up in Toronto, and then I was like, I'll bring my secondary pairs on vacation or if I go to a mosh pit. But no, not anymore. Shady Rays, they changed my world. I found them. They're glasses. They're made for real life. They're serious, good looking. They're polarized. They're durable. They're not stupidly expensive. And here's the crazy, crazy part. If you lose them or break them on day one, they will send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, no questions, just replacements. So now I wear my sunglasses all the time without any fear. I bring them with me to ball games, hikes through the city, concerts, mosh pits, whenever I go on the boats, wherever. Shady Rays are with me, and they got my back. So we've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer.
When do you go on
Head over
boats?
to shadyrays.com and use the code PHLY for 35% off these nice polarized glasses. PHLY.
And what's the website?
Shadyrays.com.
All right. When do you go on boats?
We've been through this. I just had a nice mimosa on the Mashaloo on a Sunday morning.
Boats.
Dude, that ain't no boat. That thing's been dry docked for like 30 years.
It's not dry dock. There's water all around it.
It
rocks up and down.
The only time
I've done it. Paddle boats. I do those like stork paddle boats at the Penn's Landing. They're wonderful. I bring my Shady Rays on the stork paddle boats. Come on. So don't head to shadyrays.com. Use the code PHLY for 35% off polarized glasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
Oh, the shot.
Yeah, man. The sun beating down on the Delaware.
That's perfect. You Shady Rays for the vampire.
Yeah, man. I need a Shady Rays bodysuit.
All right, let's talk about Parks Casino Street Road Bed Sale and the place where we have a mecca of entertainment. That's right. Action, fun. It's our, it's amazing so close that you have this mecca of fun. Pennsylvania's #1 casino. You got thousands of hot slots, state-of-the-art sportsbook, beautiful poker room, Liberty Bell, beer garden, and collection of award-winning restaurants. Parks Casino, this is how you win. Tickets on sale now for these headliners. December 5th, the acapella group specializing in holiday fun, straight no chaser.
It's holly jolly Christmas. It's the best time of the year.
Now, you want to be against early Christmas? That alone made me feel good.
I'm not ready for that yet. I feel weird singing it. I feel weird.
Like it's too early now because it's
it's
Halloween season, right? But some point, week before Thanksgiving.
Too early.
The nightmare before Christmas.
All right. December 6th, comedian Ken Jeong, who's hysterical.
Funny guy.
December 12th, get the Led Zeppelin tribute.
And she's buying the stairway to heaven.
Okay. November 26th, comedian Joey Diaz.
Going to sell out.
October 25th, Almost Queen.
We are the champions, my friend.
I'm not singing that today.
Yeah, no. That was actually bad song choice. Yeah.
They're Birkenstock.
I got to find a new one.
Radio Gaga. Radio Goo Goo.
November 21st, Air Supply.
I'm all out of love. I'm so lost without you. I miss my Phillies.
Yeah, ParksCasino.com. Buy tickets for all shows. Parks Casino. This is how you win. You got to be 21. Gambling problem. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Now, the terrific columnist from the Inquirer every Monday. It's a Murphy Monday on the Xfinity guest line. David Murphy.
Murphy, it's time for our man, David Murphy.
Good morning, my brother.
There it is. There it is. The streak has been broken.
Yeah, no worries, brother. Great piece. I agree completely. You can't win with the middle of that lineup.
No, I mean, we saw that. It's funny because if you look at Bohm's numbers, they were actually halfway decent for the series, but the numbers kind of also speak volumes about the state of that middle of the lineup. I mean, the guy walked multiple times in 3 games of that 4-game series, and he'd only had 3 such games in the entire regular season. And we all saw it with our very eyes that when you're pitching around Alec Bohm to get to Brandon Marsh, that kind of tells you what people think about Brandon Marsh.
Yeah, I mean, stop. Like this lineup needs to be adjusted in a major way. We talked about it, the lack of a right-handed power bat.
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask you right off the bat, before we get into the wounds of Thursday night, to me, there's only one move you can make, and it's Alonso, right? Because Bryce needs to be protected. You got another decade of Bryce, basically, right? Like, Bryce needs to be protected, and you need a right-handed power bat to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, that's really what it comes down to. And you're correct. 100%. Alonso's the guy that kind of, you look at him and you're like, man, this guy would be perfect. And
I can't take Pete Alonso talk. I hate Pete Alonso. Like, no. Could just to make
here's my thing.
Worse. It's a sour thing to say.
Come on.
You hate
Alex Bregman. Like, Pete Alonso. No.
You hate the caricature of Pete Alonso that I guarantee
he's actually a great dude, to be honest with you.
He is. I remember because all I had seen was really the caricature, and then last year I remember covering that playoff series, and each of the stars kind of speaks before the game at a press conference once a series, and it was Alonso's turn, and I remember I'm sitting there listening to him talk, and I'm like, man, this guy's actually a pretty good dude. I think Philly would love him actually. Yep. But regardless, I mean, the big question there is can Bryce still play the outfield, and will he play the outfield? Because yes, you could swap in Alonso for Schwarber and get more of a right-handed bat, but I just think that Schwarber's so critical to this lineup that you want to keep him in the fold, right? So
no, I want both.
Yeah, that's what I'm. But Bryce would need to move to. Bryce would need to move to the outfield. I think he should, and he'd be open to doing it.
I don't know why you wouldn't. Like, the only way to fix this thing is to go out, move him to the outfield, and go get a right-handed bat, re-sign Schwarber, right, and go for it. Like that, you're already deeply invested. So the only way to fix this is to go out and do that. And that means writing more checks, big checks, and let's go. You're not gonna re-sign Ranger, right? As much as I'd love to do that. If you're gonna bring in Alonso and re-sign Schwarber, you can't do that. So and then you gotta bring Crawford up, and that's gotta be your outfield.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not. You can't go into a season thinking Justin Crawford's going to be There's a chance Justin Crawford's, just slightly better than Johan Rojas. Like you can't necessarily be planning on him to hit 300.
No, but I need cheap players. If I'm going to go sign Alonso and re-sign Schwarber, I got to get cheap elsewhere.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, that's the thing. So here's the thing: is if you bring in a guy like, there's so many questions. I mean, I think we saw in the, I think Brandon Marsh can play center field for you, but he's not going to play a great center field. And then, his left-handed bat does kind of fit if you have a guy, hitting fourth or fifth with a right-handed bat. Marsh should be a 7 or 8 hole hitter. There's just so many.
I'd rather have Crawford.
Yeah, look, there are so many different questions with this team. I mean, what do you do with Nick Castellanos? You essentially need 3 outfielders right now. And I guess the big question is, Marsh might be a guy that could get traded somewhere. Part of me thinks the answer is to trade all these guys for relievers. Because Bohm, you've already explored that market. There's really not much there. I think guys like Bohm and Marsh are the kind of guys that either get traded for like off another team that has an expendable part. I mean, Jonathan India was a guy I threw out last year. He ended up not having a great year for the Royals, but otherwise, high leverage relievers on bad teams sometimes, will be available for guys like Bohm and Marsh. So maybe you build your bullpen that way, and then fill the gaps via free agency. So I don't know, but like I wrote, the only thing we know for sure is they need a bat like that. And if Bryce Harper and Dombrowski are being honest with themselves, this whole thing went off the rails when Bryce Harper needed to play first base and they had to say goodbye to Rhys Hoskins or some sort of replacement. Like think about that 2022 season. Hoskins, granted, streaky player, ups and downs, and
yeah, but he had a great eye. Right? He was Jason Worth-like.
Yeah, and he was a very big difference maker in that 2022 postseason, and they just haven't replaced that bat. And they've been trying. You hoped that Alec Bohm would kind of develop into a power hitter to be that guy, but he just hasn't, and he's not. And again, he can have a spot in the lineup, especially with the way he's been playing defense at third base. But it just ain't fourth or fifth. It's got to be. You got to have those guys at the bottom half of the order, and where you're not depending on them for anything.
So your mind, David Murphy's mind, Topper gone?
I really haven't decided on that. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference, put it that way. I don't think, look, it is what it is. I mean, we saw in that final game 5, if you looked at their top 8 relievers heading into this season, before, it was Strom, I think. Before Kirkring came in, the only guy that had pitched in that game was Matt Strom. And they spent the last 2 games of that series bending over backwards not to have to go to David Robertson and go to some other, Tanner Banks, some of these other guys that really were supposed to be the guys. Jordan Romano spent the whole series just watching, that's the problem. And frankly, the Dodgers had it too. It's tough to build a bullpen. Dodgers spent a heck of a lot of money on their bullpen this year. None of those guys pitched in the series. I mean, Tanner Banks wasn't there. Training was a training wreck for his one appearance. And then they had Michael Kopech.
That's the shame of Thursday night is if you get to Trinan, you're going to win. Like if if Kirkering's able to make the play to first, and it's all good. Now you have the distinct advantage because the Phillies would have killed Trinan.
Yeah, and look, here's another. I have not written this yet, but I'm going to write it at some point. We do have to kind of. I know. Look, nobody wants perspective right now. If you look at the long-term trends, it is what it is. They've kind of gotten less far each year, but you know, they played the Dodgers about as even as any team could hope to play the Dodgers over a 5-game series. And part of the reason why this one to me, hurts more than last year. Last year they just got beat. They didn't deserve to win that series. And this series was a lot closer than Dodgers in 4. If that bunt gets down, if Stott hits and if Stott moves the runner instead of and doesn't get an out or whatever. There's all these ifs in the series where it really came down to kind of these 50-50 moments where if you play it out in a simulation, they break in the Phillies' favor just as often as they don't. And it just happened that that's baseball. And I guess the point is, they won 96 games. They won the division going away. They played the Dodgers. They very easily could have beat the Dodgers. One of the best teams.
They were plus in the run differential, which is unbelievable.
They hit more home runs. They scored more runs. They allowed fewer runs. They stole more bases, struck out less. This team actually played a halfway decent series. They just ran into a team with maybe 3 of the best starting pitchers in the game.
I mean, the problem was the big boys in games 1, like. You can't lose both games at home, man. Like, it goes down to that. Like, you had chances to bust them open, and you didn't.
But that's kind of the point where, that happens. Ohtani went 1 for 18 with 9 strikeouts, and, he's got a 500 OPS in his last 12 playoff games, and I'm not excusing any of it. I'm just saying you have to, when people say, blow it up,
right.
I don't want any more of this. Be careful what you wish for. And I think, if I would guess Topper's back just because I think Middleton probably learned a lot of lessons the last time around where it seemed so obvious that the answer, in 2013 was to just whatever, change for the sake of change. This era is over. It's time to go into a new era. You got to be careful or else you could end up with a decade where baseball just completely dies on the vine in the city of Philadelphia. So, I think the irony is, I think there's a good chance that we're in the exact same position we're in right now as we were last year when we go into spring training, where they're going to try to trade Bohm, try to trade Marsh, try to look for upgrades. But at the end of the day, you got a 96 win team here that again was every bit the Dodgers equal. A team that has $100 million more payroll. The problem is once you get to this level, it's really hard to get better. We saw it with the Sixers for, years where you just, I don't know. Yes, I think the only thing I know for sure is they need to find that bat, and if they say goodbye to Schwarber, they need to find 2 of those bats. But I think you got to re-sign Schwarber, and then you got to find a way to get one of these guys, whether it's Alonso, whether it's Bregman, whether it's Tucker. And I'll be honest, it doesn't even need to necessarily be a guy, a 5-star guy like that. It could be a Eugenio Suarez the Orioles signed Ramon Laureano for, $4 million last year. It just needs to be the profile of a bat that is more, extra base hits, drive the ball, rather than whatever Bowman Marsh are.
Yeah, I got to tell you, Dombrowski's got to do better. I mean, you have the 4th highest payroll. You have a lot of, and quite frankly, the last 2 off seasons, he's failed. Like he failed. Listen, the Kepler thing, forget it. It wound up working out semi-okay after a horrific start. But truthfully, he was the wrong fit from the beginning. You didn't need another left-handed hitter. Like that, like the way he sometimes envisions this ball club befuddles me. I'm like,
I think a lot of it's like a kind of a, kind of psychological fallacy sort of thing where he kind of talks himself into what the easiest answer is, where, to me, I think the legitimate frustration right now is that everything that we're talking about is stuff that we were talking about going into spring training where, now, the flip side is a lot of people wanted them to sign Michael Conforto to 1 year and $17 million instead of Max Kepler, and Michael Conforto was not on the Dodgers postseason roster. He was.
Yeah, but again, Conforto was on the left-handed bat, so I didn't. That wasn't the guy I wanted.
No, I know, but the point is, it's difficult. It's I'm not excusing Dombrowski. That's where a guy like Dombrowski is supposed to make his hay, and it's you almost feel bad for the guy, the switcheroos that he's been doing. Yeah, I mean, you trade for Wells, and then you know you're like, oh, this guy stinks. I was wrong, and then you non-tender him, and then he turns into the exact right-handed bat that you needed. It's just you got to get it right. I mean, he got it wrong with Romano. Uh, it's tough. It's tough to build a team through free agency when you're relying on these guys that are kind of at the stage of their careers where you have no idea what you're actually going to get once they get in here.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's transition to the Eagles. The other part of the bleak Thursday that was watching the NFL yesterday and seeing these offenses. Now you compare and contrast with the Eagles. What do you see?
Well, I think I said it here. I think I said it. We talked about this, a couple of weeks ago, where you got to keep in mind the rest of the NFL looks just as bad as the Eagles, just as often as the Eagles do. And obviously that's not the bar that you're aiming for. We were fortunate last year to have one of the all-time talented teams, and everybody was healthy. And I think what you're seeing right now, you guys hit the nail on the head. You take Landon Dickerson off this offensive line. You take Lane Johnson, a couple weeks ago off this offensive line. When you have a team that's built from the lines out, and your quarterback is overly reliant on those lines, one guy goes missing and you're in trouble. Same thing with Jalen Carter on the defensive side of the ball. I think that, look, everything everybody has said is correct. I just don't know that Jalen Hurts is capable of playing better. This is just it's kind of one of those things where he is who he is.
No, but listen, that's entirely fair, because the truth of the matter is, if you're not a downhill run team like they were last year behind a super offensive line, and you're like everybody else, you lose your superpower. This offense still has A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert. It still has enough pieces to be good if the quarterback and the OC are on the same page and can make the quarterback better.
I'm with you. And look, I've assumed for the last 3 months that Mike McDaniel is going to be the offensive coordinator of this team next year. And I think the best thing the Eagles can hope for is that it actually happens this year, and you can bring him in as kind of the Fangio consultant once he finally gets banged down there in Miami. I think Patullo, all the criticism is correct, and I think it reminds me a lot of 2023 with the
Brian Johnson.
Brian Johnson. Is he still in Carolina, by the way? Where is he at now?
I lost track of him. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is like, clearly, it was very clear at some point that season that he just was not the guy for the job. And I think Patullo is getting into that danger zone here,
the one thing about that, though, Jalen is a unique quarterback. And there's a lot of, we have now seen several OCs, right? Like several OCs. And watching the Saints offense with nothing is way more creative than watching the Eagles offense last year with the same offensive guy there. There is with Jalen quarterback, it does limit to what things that you can do. I mean, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think it's totally fair, and I think that's, I guess what the kind of the distinction I'm trying to make is, I don't know if it's fair to say, oh, well, Jalen has to play better, because this is kind of.
Well, I think you need to lean more into Jalen's strengths, right? Which is get him back as a big part of the run game. Because
I don't understand. I don't understand why they got away from that. When they've looked their best, it's been with him running. I mean, that Super Bowl, how many? I think he had something like 15 carries, and that was, that was not even including all the times that he was scrambling around and throwing on the run. Now the question is, the things we don't know. The quarterback is always going to have final control just about of the offense, because he can change the line. He can change the play at the line of scrimmage. He can make his voice heard in meetings. Does Jalen want to be that kind of player anymore, or is he in that Donovan McNabb stage where he doesn't want to he doesn't want to be that guy necessarily? He wants to be the drop back.
He's still a great runner. Like
he can't be happy being this guy.
I wouldn't think so either.
And by the way, when he's involved in a run game, it opens up things down the field, and he's good. Like that's where RPO play action come into play. Like, listen, the reason why they had to move from it is teams started to play them differently, right? They started crashing more on the edge, more spy, right? Well, now they're doing something that you can't figure out, right? Which is they're showing pressure and they're dropping back and flooding the zone. And it's not working, right? So to counter that, you got to go back to RPOs to counter that and let them adjust. And hopefully by that point, you're so far ahead of it that they can't stop you on the reg. I'm
with you. I think this is at a certain level. I think kind of coaching and quarterbacking is they're almost two sides of the same coin. So anything that's Patullo's fault is partially Hurts' fault and vice versa.
And Sirianni.
Yeah, absolutely, Sirianni.
You're a CEO coach from the offensive side of the ball. I need the coach to get more involved on the offense.
I'm with you. I think that I think the other problem is they're so they've always been so reliant on AJ and Devontae that you see with Goddard where he just kind of gets Goddard. Goddard's probably a shell of the player that he was 3 or 4 years ago, but he's still got all these opportunities because of how defenses have to be geared to stop the three-headed monster. And I think that I was saying during the offseason I thought that they should try to put some money in or some resources into a slot receiver or a third weapon of some sort, whether it's a pass catching running back, whether it's a David Njoku type. It's almost like you need a third weapon, and I think part of the problem is part of what made them great was what they did was so simple, but now I think we're seeing that if teams can take away some of your, if you only have 2 or 3 simple concepts, and teams figure out a way to take it away, you could get what you got right now,
Which teams are going to figure it out, but I don't know. I hear what you're saying, but do we really want Sirianni involved?
Okay, I'm going to say this right now, and this is the truth. If you're that afraid of the head coach being part of the offense, then he's got to go. I'm serious. Like, you can't have your head coach who comes from the offensive side of the ball and be afraid to have him play a big part in it. That he doesn't belong to. He can't be a coach. Can't be my head coach. That's the truth of the matter. Like, if you have that kind of response, then you got to fire him. Again.
Maybe I'm weird and on an island. I'm just scared of that happening.
You got to give him the.
I feel like we've seen it.
The chance. He's the freaking head coach. If you're the head coach for the offensive side of the ball, he's got to be able to step in, and you have to have the gravitas to let him step in. And if he can't do it, then at the end of the year, you got to move on. It sounds crazy, but I can't have a head coach that's muted when he's coming from that side of the ball. What CEO coach comes from that side of the ball?
It's almost like, remember when McVay had the get back coach? I think it was Ted Rath. It almost feels like Howie's got his own get back coach that against Nick's will, he's holding him back from being part of the play calling. I'm with you. It's hard to sustain. You would think that it would be hard to sustain, but one of the this team is it really is a mind-boggling team because it almost feels like what we're seeing now is just a continuation of the dysfunction that we saw at the end of 2023. Except in the middle, they were one of the best teams in NFL history and won the Super Bowl.
Well, that's my point. That's why you got to let.
It's hard. It's really hard. It's hard to know. If you think about it, last year Landon Dickerson was right. Last year we were having these same conversations after 4 games about Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio. And I personally, I'm with you. I think this feels different. I think losing to the Giants the way they did. The Giants stink. The Giants stink. They just gave up 26 points to Spencer Rattler and the Saints. That's eye-opening. And the fact that you have...
Well, I do think no Quinyon, no Jalen has a huge impact. in the game.
Sure, but Quinion don't play offense, and Jalen doesn't play offense.
Right.
I mean,
no, that's my biggest fear. I need Sirianni. Like
the public perception is that it's a Nick and Kevin offense, that Nick's helped design this offense and Kevin calls the plays.
Okay, well, but here's the thing: we look at this from a simplistic standpoint. Like we look at it like, oh, this, and it's not as simplistic as we throw it out. It's not. Hold the thought.
Yeah.
Overtime. Hang on 1 second.
Yes,
Murph.
sorry.
Overtime. We're in overtime.
Continues on YouTube.
Yeah, please, if you're watching it anywhere else or listening, go to YouTube and subscribe and hang out with us. Listen, this is where it's Sirianni. Again, you grow as a coach. You start to evolve as a coach. And when I say like, oh, if you don't believe him, fire him. But you get my point. Like my point is, you got to allow him to be able to get involved offensively and really kind of evolve as a coach. You in this era of coaching, if you're an offensive coach, an OC who's any good, you're going to get a head job. So the stepping stone, there's always going to be another OC and another OC. You're an offensive guy. You got to take control. You got to take control. Yeah. Andy, Dan Campbell loses Ben Johnson. Do they look any different? They're as creative. They're the whole thing. They don't look the same kind of gadget plays. They all kinds of stuff. No, because go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I'm with you. I think that the lack of creativity on the Eagles end of things is would seem to be, the most glaring sign of what ain't right. Because you watch these teams that are operating at a high level, and you see them come up with things that even Andy last night. The first play to Pacheco was a counter, but it was almost like a hesitation to counter delay, and you could see it. It got Aiden Hutchinson and the entire right side of the Lions offensive line just moving their mass in a different direction, and they didn't even need to be blocked because and Pacheco went around left tackle for 9 or 10 yards. It's that kind of stuff.
And they were playing without their left tackle who couldn't play last night because of a personal thing. So that to me is next level offense, where that I got a left tackle that I'm a little worried about. Well, early in the game, I'm going to give him confidence because Hutchinson's going to be on his, just right on his ass. So I'm going to devise stuff like that in the game plan. That's where I don't ever see the Eagles use wrinkles like that.
Never.
No. And I think it's a fair and a huge point. And I don't understand why, why does it look so? The Eagles' strength was that they could dominate while playing vanilla, but why does it have to look so vanilla, especially when vanilla is getting shut down now?
Especially when you got Saquon Barkley, Devontae Smith, and A.J. Brown, right? You got players. These aren't just names on a football card. These are players, legit players. Like seriously, if you're A.J. Brown, you blame him for being frustrated?
No, of course not. I'd be frustrated. We'd all be frustrated.
I don't know if I'm off base on this, but the other thing that it seems to be missing this year is kind of some of the easy stuff. I mean, it used to drive us nuts. The Quez Watkins behind the line of scrimmage and Jahan Dotson behind the line of scrimmage. But the one thing that surprised me, and it goes back to Kellen Moore too, is that they haven't gotten Barkley more involved as a pass catcher because he's not great, but he has the ability to do it. And they, like you said, they just seem to have enough weapons where they can devise some easy stuff that can, the kind of the pass plays that are extension of the run plays. That seems like it's been dialed back a little bit this year, where they're not getting Jalen in a groove early. It seems like, I don't know if I'm off base on that or not, but that's and believe me, those plays used to drive me crazy with the amount that they relied on throwing behind the line of scrimmage. But look, there's a reason why Andy always started the game with that, bubble screen to Todd Pinkston. I mean, it's an easy way to just get things going in the right direction, especially for a quarterback that needs that rhythm like Jalen does.
How about first down play, open the game, first down play action, and take a shot deep shot.
Yeah.
Remember, Andy used to do that with T.O. all the time. Like, you take that early deep shot. Take an early deep shot. Like, let them know that all of a sudden you're the DC. Go, oh, all right, I didn't see that on tape. All right, they're coming at me early, man. All right, maybe we're gonna do some things. You got to change things up.
Yeah, and at the same time, look, the biggest difference on Thursday night was that they lost the turnover battle by 2, which they never do.
Yeah, but sooner or later,
you
can't win by just playing turtle football.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. The problem is I was saying it all last year, and they absolutely did end up winning. But so I think that's my biggest confusion.
Yeah, they won last year because they were bullies on the block. They were bullies on the block, and Saquon went nuts. That's why they won. And if you're not bullies on the block, you can't play turtle football.
No, I'm with you. And look, Saquon still got it, obviously, but he was operating at an all-time high level last year. And think about how many games they would have lost if he didn't break off a 60-yard run and jump backwards over a defender. I mean, it seemed like every game from the Packers right on down through the end of the season, it seemed like every game it felt like this season, except then Saquon kind of took things into his own hands and broke one loose, and those plays just haven't been there this year. And to your point, you can't rely. That's it's not a good way to devise an offense to count on those plays.
When you got you got Barkley. You got they're 30th going into this weekend. They were 30th in play action. That seems complete insanity.
Well, when the quarterback doesn't want to be on the center, that's a problem.
Exactly.
But you could do play action from shotgun.
You could do RPO play action, which is why I'm want to do RPO play. But that pistol stuff, there's just a limit to what you're going to do and with your formations.
I'm with you, and I think it comes down to, I want to be careful about not, Jalen. I was always a big Jalen detractor, and then he kind of proved himself in my book, and I still think, you would rather have him than all but 10 or 11 quarterbacks in the league right now, no questions asked. But he has limitations, and part of the RPO game is the quarterback making those decisions, and you are limited with. I mean, look, Hurts he's a small guy relative to the position, and more importantly, relative to the interior of offensive and defensive lines. So you're limited there. There's a reason why he wants to be in the shotgun, and that's part of the reason. But you can do play action out of shotgun, but it has a far different feel and impact when your guy is 7 yards behind you and you're
right.
kind of have developing play action. That's when you can allow receivers to kind of get guys going in a different direction. And that's why it's hard. As uncreative as this offense looks, it's hard to it's really hard to know what's the chicken and what's the egg with regards to the quarterback and the coordinator.
So EJ just put this out. EJ Smith, who covers the Eagles for all PHLY, great. He said, here you go. Here's your play action percentage. 2022, 31.1%. 2023, 26.5%. 2024, 24.6%. This year, 19.2%.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'd be curious how much of that play action, like does does kind of the read option, does that count as play action? Because I feel like, is that baked into those numbers? Kind of the play action where Hurts running is an option, because that would help explain some of it. I don't get it because I thought, especially early in the year, I thought Jalen looked, I thought he looked quicker and lighter on his feet, the first few games of the season than he had at any point, since the Super Bowl, really. So, I think it's such an obvious, obvious fix that when you have a quarterback who brings so much value in that aspect of the game, when things are going the way they're going, why not kind of get back to that and see what happens.
All right,
you got Day Niz, who joins
Yeah.
the Eagles program here. They're 30th in play action on all dropbacks, and their only successful under center play action play of the season is a scramble on the third play of week 1.
That's amazing. Amazing. Thanks, Dennis. Amazing. All right, tonight is the opening night at the X Center. Flyers come home. Opening night. Drop the puck, baby. They had two tough ones. What a schedule. Florida.
There's a chat going on early. They're dropping a name. I don't want to even say his name, but they're saying it's reminiscent down there right now with Michov not getting any shifts in the overtime. And our head coach say, well, I had to play the players that were skating. We back where we started. What's going on?
Listen, I'm excited for him. I do think this will be a grind year. And then next year is when you're going to have, some of the young players like on board, and you're going to have $40 million in cap space.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm totally checked out of the Flyers. I would need
what?
I would need
game 3.
Look, at some point, you don't deserve to be paid attention to anymore.
So is Mike, like, who will write columns on the Flyers, Mike or you?
Mike will. Marcus will do it a little bit, but Mike is more the hockey guy. I'm so out of the loop on the Flyers. It's not. I ask more questions of Flyers fan. Anytime I meet a Flyers fan, I ask them for what's going on because I'm curious what people think. How when is this going to end, and when are they going? What is the pathway to get back to relevance? I guess, and no one can ever really give me a straight answer.
Well,
So
I think you're on it. I think you're on it. I think they went through a rebuild. Like, you're going through a rebuild, legitimate rebuild. You're getting out of cap hell. They were in a bad cap situation, right? Which killed them. Like, they were thrown for a loop when the NHL went to the hard cap. That killed the Flyers because, Ed Snyder would go out and spend. And it took them a while until now. Now you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Now it's going to be up to Jonesy and Danny to get the right mix and go after the right superstar, but they're going to get a couple big name players coming up.
Well, I guess my question is, I just remember, so like during that Phillies rebuild, there got to be a point where you were just like, why am I even talking about this team? Like, am I really sitting here debating Cesar Hernandez versus, Freddie Galvis at second base, or, how many at-bats Michael Frank? Like, are they to the point where those conversations are even worth anything, or do they not have?
I think this is more akin to 2006 Phillies.
Okay.
Like,
so
they have got the Clemmer, like you got like an Utley and you got a Howard on the, like, you're going to see some guys, and all of a sudden there's some young talent. Like, I think this is a 2006 Phillies situation.
So then the other thing about hockey is, I mean, how many, you talked about the cap space, but how many of these contracts ever actually work, free agent wise? It feels like, a guy.
It works a lot. Like, you just got to get the right guy,
I guess that's part of the, I guess that's part of the issue.
A lot of superstars out there. I mean, there's a lot of, you just got to make sure you do your homework. You pick the right guy. Can't overpay. I hated their signings up until this regime.
So what's a reasonable expectation for them this year? Like, are the playoffs even?
I think you fight for the playoff spot. You see the growth of the young players. Like, this is, process. Like, this is, I don't know, the Sixers right before, like the Euro squad. Like, you're about to, they're close to making the playoffs. And then next year, you're in. Like, to me, the clock starts next year.
Yeah, I might have watched 5 Flyers games last year, but one of them was on Super Bowl Sunday where they were up 3-1 or 4-1 on Boston, I think. And then all of a sudden it looked like they weren't even playing defenders.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Flyers have stopped skating.
Stop skating.
It was just all of a sudden it was just I mean, I think Boston might have had 50 shots on goal over the last 2 periods or something like that. Have they fixed that defense?
Yeah, I mean, they're working on it.
It's a work.
I mean, they're funneling. They're going to play a different system where they funnel a lot of shots.
So do you watch do you watch every game pretty much?
I watch everything, brother. I watch. I try to watch as much as I possibly can. Now, I'm not going to tell you it might be a different time, right? Like I might fast forward through, like I DVR every game and I'll watch it in 30 minutes, right? Like I do a lot of that. Do it with Phillies. I'll do, depends. Phillies are different because usually you have time. But now when you have everything going on, and I love, football, college football, and so I DVR over the weekend. I got DVR the Flyers game Saturday night, right?
Right.
I like the Sixers start. I'll probably watch early, and then as the season goes, I'll DVR them because I want to see how they're playing. I like the strategy element. That my biggest.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That's my biggest geekdom is I love strategy.
I'm with you, but it's also why I can't the Flyers. I just don't watch. I have not been watching them close enough.
Well, they weren't worth it, but now they are. I think.
Yeah, maybe I will say I can't wait for them to get back to a point where, they're worth watching every night to kind of follow along the way you follow a Philly season or an Eagles season. I mean, look, I was Legion of Doom was my that was where I came up. I love that team, and in this city especially, the having a great hockey team is it just adds an entire new layer.
Oh yeah, man! There's excitement, springtime, and it's awesome.
I want to be able to invest in this team again. And I guess I'm just waiting until.
I would say start watching now just to see the young players. Like Michkov's the truth. Like he's legit. Like the kid in college now, who's the first round pick, Porter Martone. Martone is like I hear he's ready to play now. Like he's got tremendous skill. Like they got some skilled young talent. So they're going to be fun. Now you need a goalie, right? Vladar's kind of like a stopgap. He's a legitimate goaltender. They got a couple good prospects. One's in Russia that we talk about, but
Zavragin,
yeah.
That's gonna be my homework. I'm gonna get myself to a point where I can speak intelligently on the Flyers with you guys.
Yeah, do it. It's fun.
Let's go to a game together, Murph. Let's go down see.
I'm in.
Let's go down to the barn.
Let's do it.
I'll do it.
Let's do it.
I'll definitely do that without a
pick
doubt.
One. I'm in. Yeah.
All right. I'll get the tickets. My brother.
All right.
Because we're gonna go. Let's go have fun and watch the game.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
All right.
I'm in.
All right, great. I'm gonna bring my little guy. All right.
All right. I don't think Max can do it yet, but
all right. Well, at some point we're gonna get Max. I wanna have Max like I do with my kids. And we'll have him at all games and stuff. All right.
Oh, absolutely.
I thought you were gonna say hitting the sled.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that too. Murph, we love you, brother. You're the great. I love our Murphy Mondays. Thanks, pal.
All right.
See
you guys.
Here he is, Murph. All right.
I don't know what to think, man.
About what?
It feels like there's something out there, like defenses have adjusted, and it feels like a lot of people think the quarterback, well, he needs to do better, but can he do better? And people no one wants to say what they're thinking, it feels like to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, what they're thinking is, like I've all along said that he's an interesting quarterback because he's not traditional, right?
Yeah.
He's not a traditional quarterback with, you go, oh, great, he's going to throw you. He's a volume thrower. Like, listen, Wentz became a failure, right? Because he played hero ball. But that style of quarterback, like you watch, like tonight, you're going to see Caleb, right? Like, forget Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is an elite quarterback already.
Right.
I love Jaden Daniels. But Caleb is a modern quarterback who could throw it 30, 40 times a game. He did it in college. He played at SC. He was in a spread offense, and he slung it. Like, you got to be able to sling it on a volume situation. And Caleb Williams can do that. Now it's up to Ben Johnson to get him to trust more, get the ball out quicker, because a lot of guys rely on their athleticism. But Caleb Williams is a kid that can throw it. With Jalen, he's not a volume guy.
No.
But he's got other assets that you can work with, which is why I go back to the RPO situation. Because he is he's an elite run, like his vision is elite. Like, get him back to that, right? Get him back. And then once you have RPO and that's working, the pass off RPO is great because there's more windows. Like, there's guys are open. He's comfortable playing like it's college. Like, that's who he is.
Yeah.
He's not a guy that's going to pick apart a defense. So he's got to throw the ball. So this way you get him moving in an RPO situation. I think that's his most comfortable. I think it's where he flourishes.
Yeah. Well, then the RPOs, the play action freezes defenders a little bit just for a millisecond. And then, it makes him a little later to their spot.
But even beyond just the play action, he's in a rhythm.
Yeah.
He's better in a rhythm. The offense moves. That's what you have to do.
You hear Petullo and Nick. Let's get it together.
I mean, I don't know how many times I could be more right about this stuff.
I mean, you can't be more right than 100%. It maxes out 100%.
I mean, not.
Can't go.
No, with this team,
I hear about 110%, but that's not real.
Aside, like, right? Nothing. Like, last year, what did I say? You're a downhill run team. You got to maximize what you are. You need to run the ball and stop throwing the ball that many times.
Mm-hmm.
With this team, you got to know your personnel. And your O-line is not where it was last year. And then off the RPO, you got Barkley to do. Like, you were doing that stuff with Miles Sanders.
Right.
Now you have Saquon Barkley.
Yes.
Please, I'm begging. And the head coach has to assert himself. Has to.
Unless he's already involved.
He may be, but, got to assert himself.
Yeah.
All right. I found today cathartic.
I'm just going to go home and sit on the couch.
You look more depressed than ever.
Yeah, I'm in a bogus mood today.
What do you think, Andrew?
It's the weather. I think the weather has us after the weekend. The weather,
It must be my shoes. I need some comfortable shoes like you got on.
Oh, stop with the shoes.
Can you throw a picture? Throw that picture up.
Throw the picture up.
Got the picture.
This is Andrew today. This is what he wore today in the rain in the city.
In the rain in the city. Did you bike over in those?
No, I'm not going to bike today. Let me get the picture
This is
up.
what he wore. Put him up.
Yeah, here you go.
Yeah. He's dragging. He doesn't want to. There they are.
All right.
That's what he wore on a rainy day. Rainy day.
Comfort on my feet.
They suede, nice suede on a rainy day.
Yeah, but I don't care. I don't like. They can get messed up.
What, do you got fur inside?
No, no fur in here. No.
Why would you wear them today in the rain? By the way, look at the socks and the floods. I get the floods in the
floods
rain.
today is a proper attire.
It's
Yeah.
when I sit, the pants.
Oh,
when
dude,
you're tall,
there's
when
so
you're
much
tall,
calf
pants.
show.
You got a hard time with pants.
So much calf.
Yeah, those shoes.
Yeah.
Like, you said to me something that was interesting. You said, hey, I wanted to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I went, well, why don't you wear a pair of sneakers?
Like, what are you wearing? Chuck Taylor from 1950?
Like to me, I love wearing sneakers. Like, I love sneakers.
Sure.
Sneakers
I
are
wear them every
comfortable.
day. Yeah, I wear them every day.
Well, if you want to be comfortable, you want a pair of sneakers.
He wants to be able to slide the dogs
My
out.
foot's loose.
Yeah, he wants to take the
I can
dogs
slide them
out.
off. I can stretch my
I'm
feet.
comfortable doing a show.
Yeah.
Look at your toes wiggle.
Yeah, I would agree. It's a little.
I'm trying to distract you from
Totally
all
off-putting.
the sports stuff.
I got it. But wiggling toes is not the way to do it.
You got to put you need a PHL banner in front of that table so we can't see what goes on.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, I
table.
think so. It keep me in peace.
Yeah, it's really Joey with the with these things under the table.
Oh yeah, sticking his things under the table.
Yeah, crazy. All right, let's go back in the day.
We're going back. We're going back. We're going back. Back in the day with True Mark. Oh yeah.
So I'm going to go back to 1967. I found a photo I never saw before.
1967. Wow.
Yeah, and the Flyers are honoring Bernie with the number 1 behind the nets. This is the 1967 expansion draft. The original 6 teams, the last place Bruins. They kept Gary Cheevers, leaving Bernie Parent and Doug Favell and Eddie Johnston unprotected.
Wow.
The Flyers took Bernie 2nd overall, Doug Favell 9th overall, and I've never seen Bernie in a Bruins uniform. So that's him when they drafted him, back in the day when they drafted him. Yeah.
Look at that. Look at Bernie.
Yeah.
They took Cheevers. They kept Cheevers. You remember Cheevers' mask was?
Yeah, like all the spots he got hit on it, right?
All the scars.
Yeah.
Yeah. He looked like a hard man. Like that was like the goal.
That's the OG one.
Yeah, that was the OG. All the stitches. He looked like Jason. All right, that's going to do it for us today, everybody. Thanks for hanging. We love you. Do us a favor. Like, subscribe, please. We need that. It helps with the algorithm. So like it, subscribe, tell your friends so we can continue here at PHLY doing all the content. All right. We love you. Have a great day. Be careful. It'll get better. It always does. See you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.